Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Starfire Stadium here in Sequilla. It's the US Open Cup, fourth round. Seattle Sounders against Portland Timbers. My name's Ross Fletcher. Welcome. It's a balmy evening here in the lush green surroundings of this, I would say, a homely place that Seattle have certainly made home over the past few years. Tonight, the tie of the round. Seattle looking to pick up a record-equaling fifth Lamar Hunt US Open Cup trophy, and they are defending the title they won in Philadelphia last year. In their way, their greatest rivals, the Pacific Northwest rivals, Portland Timbers. I think it needs no introduction, this. The only all-MLS tie in this round number 4, because of the geographical pairings early on in the competition. It's a wonderful sight here. We're getting the boom boom clap underway. Sold out here, around 4,200 fans crammed into this intimate place. 50 or so Portland Timbers fans are nestled on the berm away to my right hand side. Floodlights are on. We're just awaiting the arrival of the two teams away to my right hand side. These teams in terrific form. Seattle, top of the Supporters' Shield standings in MLS. Portland Timbers in the form of their lives. They've won their last 3 games, never before achieved as a Major League Soccer outfit. Here come the teams then, led by the refereeing crew. Seattle tonight in the pitch black and green. Portland Timbers in their traditional green and white. The captains, Brad Evans for Seattle, Jack Dewsbury for Portland Timbers. In a few minutes' time, we'll give you the teams, and they are fascinating reading on both parts. Well, you know what this competition means to the Sounders. Also means a lot to the Timbers. We will explain why again as we go on tonight. Kickoff is just minutes away. You're with Ross Fletcher for the whole game. US Open Cup, 4th round. Seattle Sounders and Portland Timbers on Cairo Radio 97.3 FM. Fabulous, fabulous noise here at Starfire. Seattle and the Timbers going at it for a second time this season. Seattle having won 1-0 in the regular season at CenturyLink Field. Let's bring you the two teams then. As I mentioned tonight, there are some significant lineup shifts for both sides. Let's start with Portland, whose coach Caleb Porter said the Open Cup is a major priority. He's gone pretty much as strong as he could. There's a late scratch due to illness for central defender Liam Ridgewell. No Diego Chara because of suspension. That was the red card picked up here in the game last season, quarter-final stage. And Will Johnson still gently working his way back from a broken leg, but there is firepower in Diego Valeri. His first start in a while, recovering from an ankle sprain. For Seattle Sounders, we always knew that Troy Perkins would get the run in goal. A former Portland Timber, nonetheless. But needs must tonight, some key players out for Seattle, 5 in total. Injuries to Zach Scott, Ozzy Alonso, Gonzalo Pineda and Chad Barrett. Marco Papa away on international duty, so only 6 substitutes, rather like Portland Timbers. But if needed, Clint Dempsey off the bench. Note Obafemi Martins starts. Well, for Seattle, they're looking to equal an all-time US Open Cup record this season. Only 2 other teams in the 100-plus year history of this tournament have ever won 5 titles. You have to go back nearly a century for Bethlehem Steel racking up that many. The other teams who have achieved it, the long-forgotten now Maccabi Los Angeles, in the minds of MLS fans at least, they are venerable names. Seattle looking to join them with 5 title victories. For Portland Timbers, their best, a semi-final tilt that ended in defeat at Real Salt Lake 2 seasons ago. But, as I mentioned, Caleb Porter saying this game is a major priority. We've got an opportunity to play for a trophy, and if we're able to knock off the team that won it last year, they're out of the tournament, and we'd have a proper chance to make a run. We're going to put everything into this game. As for Seattle's motivation, their 4 trophies in 6 years speaks for itself. We're underway, Seattle kicking from left to right in the first half, in possession 2. And it's O'Neill Fisher at right back with an early touch. For the benefit of our radio listeners on Cairo Radio 97.3 FM, it's Troy Perkins in goal, back 4 right to left, O'Neill Fisher, Brad Evans, Chad Marshall and Leo Gonzalez. In midfield, Christian Roldan, Andy Rose, Michael Azira and Aaron Kovar. Up front, Lamar Nagel and Obafemi Martins. For Portland Timbers, Adam Quarase in goal there, back 4 right to left. Alvas Powell, Nat Borges, Norberto Paparato and Jorge Villafana. The 2 holding midfielders, Jack Dewsbury and George Fashive. Attacking on the right, Darlington Nagbe, Rodney Wallace on the left, Diego Valeri, the playmaker behind their leading scorer, Fernando Adi, who has 6 goals this year. Free kick for Portland Timbers, left-hand side, midway inside the Sounders half. Valeri, the Argentine, poor one, whips it low, one bounce, headed freely away by Christian Roldan and cleared now by Aaron Kovar to the man furthest forwards, Martins, on his own, 1-on-2, heavy touch, runs into Alvas Powell, and the Jamaican smashes that one high into the far stand, which just in front houses the 2 benches. I mentioned just 6 subs tonight for Seattle. So too the Timbers. Both teams stretched, but Portland coming in fresh, having had the weekend off for the international games. No such luxury for the Sounders, who played and beat FC Dallas 3-0. There's a clash in the middle of the park. It's Aaron Kovar who is down for Seattle. And then there will be a stoppage to try and get some treatment here as Fashive clattered into him too. Fashive is back up. Aaron Kovar looks to be okay. And you know there is a full-blooded feel about these matches. There always is. This game no exception. We've played 2 minutes. Seattle Sounders 0, Portland Timbers 0. Final match of the evening out of 8 US Open Cup ties. Earlier today, New York Red Bulls started things off with a thumping 3-0 win over Atlanta Silverbacks of the NASL. Goals from Lloyd Sam, Ronald Zubar and Sean Davis. Also in the East, Philadelphia Union 0-0 with the USL side Rochester Rhinos. In the end, Philadelphia coming through 3-1 on penalty kicks. Their goalkeeper John McCarthy saving 3 of those spot kicks. Roll down for Seattle, halfway line, pushes it forward low, looking for Nagel, turned out of play by the Portland left back Jorge Villafana. And the throw-in for Seattle will be 15 yards over the halfway line. It'll be taken back to Brad Evans, who's restored to central defence tonight for Seattle, having come on at half-time in the Dallas game in central midfield and arguably turned the match in favour of Seattle, who've been put under the cosh by Dallas in the first period, but an injury to Gonzalo Pineda forced the switch. Evans came in, seemingly with a point to prove, and did terrifically well. Long ball to Martins now, 30 yards out, back to goal, sprays it right wing. There's a real chase on here for Andy Rose. It was overplayed. Rose keeps it in and knocks it off the defender, Jorge Villafana. And it will be the first corner of the game, and it's for Seattle Sounders FC. Very good hustle and energy from Rose, who's been Mr. Versatile in the midfield this season. Terrific Open Cup campaign for him last season, having recovered from knee surgery. 2 goals in the semi-final here against Chicago in what was a thumping 6-0 win. Kovar's corner, left-footed from the right, near post, headed up and behind by Andy Rose, and it will be a goal kick for Portland Timbers, which Adam Quaresay will take. Portland with 3 clean sheets, or rather 2 clean sheets in their last 3 games, all of which have been victories. Mentioned they are coming in with very good form. So, goal kick high, Wallace heads up. Then Evans for Seattle nods into the middle of the park, where Rose finds Kovar low down the left wing, looking for Martins. Cut out well by Alvas Pau, who hoiks it high down the middle. The gangly Fernando Adi heads back to Darlington Nagbe, who is quickly and efficiently robbed by Kovar. Over halfway for Seattle. Inside left channel now for Martins. Sweeps it low to the middle and rolled down. First time tickle round the corner is not accurate. And Borchers, with that prodigious beard, can head it clear. Came off his forehead, not his follicles. Now Kovar in the area, heading it across dangerously. In goes Lamar Nagel. In between 2 defenders, got his header on it in a difficult situation, over and wide. But Seattle with some early intent inside 6 minutes at Starfire Stadium. 0-0 between Seattle and Portland Timbers on Cairo Radio 97.3 FM. Mentioned a sellout here. Everybody in this main stand, even though they've installed new bright green seats in the majority of it, are standing. Already on tenterhooks, you might say. Poor ball given away in the middle of the park by Portland. Villafana, you can't recover it. Throwing down the right for Seattle. There are 2 balls on the field, and the referee, Daniel Radford, wants the throw-in taken back 10 yards. Normally a 4th official, Daniel Radford, but tonight refereeing his 3rd US Open Cup match. One of the earlier ones was here for a Seattle game against Cal FC. Remember them? The amateur side that Seattle dispatched 5-0. They actually would have played against Portland, but for the amateurs knocking the Timbers out in 2012, down in Portland. Alvas Powell for the Timbers, coming forwards down the right side. Peels it back to Dewsbury, short to the right again. Early ball by Fashive into the area. Free header away for O'Neill Fisher, the Seattle right back. Comes back to the area where Marshall heads clear. Azira bangs it 1 bounce into the centre circle. But it's Portland who retain possession. Villafana from the left cuts it into the box. Lovely ball for Adi, who's offside. And a free kick for the Sounders. 0-0, 7 minutes gone. Troy Perkins will have this one then in his mustard orange goalkeeping uniform. Big chance for him tonight for the 33-year-old. I mentioned a former Timber. The first 2 years of the expansion franchise's life. Moved on to Montreal in 2012 until arriving here in Seattle. And this, as I mentioned, a real chance for him to stake his claim and make a run of it in the Open Cup. Stefan Frey, the #1 goalkeeper for Seattle, no doubt about that. But Perkins, hugely experienced, one of the top 10 appearance makers in Major League Soccer for goalkeepers. As Fashive now from the back for Portland Timbers. To the right, central defender Nat Borchers, who'll hoik it long again down the right angle of the area, looking for RD, and Chad Marshall firmly heads that clear for Seattle, who failed to retain possession. Azira then hounding Jack Dewsbury and chopping his man down. Free kick for Portland, yard in from the right touchline, 10 yards or so inside the Seattle half. No goals. Norberto Paparato along the back line for the Timbers. Ball just kept in by Rodney Wallace, but O'Neill Fisher robs him, and then up to Nagel with a high ball, scudding header down the right wing. Fisher will race onto it here. Time and space for a cross, gets it wrong. Low near post, not a good one. Paparato can clear, and now Villafana bangs it to halfway in the chest of Adi. Lays off well to Valeri. Leaves it for Nagbe now in the centre circle, being harried by Michael Azira, who gets a toe in through the legs of the Liberian, and it goes all the way back to the Timbers goalkeeper Adam Quaresay. 6 clean sheets for him this season in his first year in Major League Soccer. The Ghanaian, 1 appearance in the World Cup in Brazil against the US, when the Sounders, Clint Dempsey scored on him after barely seconds in the game. Throw in here for Portland, midway inside the Seattle half, left-hand side. Villafana will have it. Back he goes to Fashive. Again, a rare chance for him tonight. Diego Chara suspended for that horrible scissor tackle that got a red card here last year in the quarter-final game. Marco Papa was taken down on that. Could have done some serious damage, but thankfully didn't. So Chara out. Will Johnson still not available, even off the bench, having made a recent recovery at Toronto from his broken leg in the same stadium last season. Christian rolled down for Seattle, inside right channel on halfway. Short to Rose and then back to Azira. Azira looks up, long diagonal, high ball, asking Martins to head on in his face mask. Wanted Kovar to run, and I think his expression there as Kovar didn't says everything. It's through for a Portland Timbers goal kick. Martins, the man in the mask, in the goal-scoring mood, having scored a fine second in that weekend win over FC Dallas. 7 on the season for Martins. Scored in the 2014 final against Philadelphia Union. That memorable evening for Seattle as they claim their 4th Dewar trophy. It's out of play for a Sounders throw on their left-hand side. 11 minutes gone, 0-0 between Seattle Sounders and Portland Timbers in the 4th round of the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. Nagbe chests it down, facing his own goal. Back he goes for Powell, who batters it up to Fernando Adi. Over halfway now, short for Wallace, furthest forwards, now lays it left wing. Villafana, the fullback, well up, corner of the area. Cross is blocked by O'Neill Fisher. Out for a throw-in for Portland, level with the Sounders area. Villafana chucks in for Valeri. Nice chest layoff to Rodney Wallace, whose volley goes well wide. Didn't really get hold of it, Wallace. Difficult ball to take, though, for the Costa Rican. So Troy Perkins goal kick. I mentioned Perkins, an experienced man. Great story how he got to MLS. When he started his career back with DC United, he worked in a sports store for $9 an hour to supplement his contract, which at the time was $850 a month. Our times are changing in North American soccer. Fashive rolled down, battling for the ball. The Portland man wins out, and then Andy Rose adjudged to push Jack Dewsbury to the floor. Home fans really don't like it. Free kick for Portland just shy of halfway. 0-0. Fashive from the back. Just 5 MLS starts for him this season. Made his debut on the opening day because of those injuries we talked about to Will Johnson, Diego Valeri. It's a 2nd year in the league, though, as Portland now have another free kick. This one bang on halfway. Daniel Radford, our referee, happy to blow his whistle already this evening. As then Villafana is robbed well by Nagel, and Villafana gets the last touch for a Sounders throw in. Well, as you might expect from a game at Starfire, it is frantic, it is frenetic, very little time on the ball for either team. Yet to see a real pattern of dominance emerging for either side. Both teams happy to get rid of the ball and keep it tight early on as Leo Gonzalez comes down the left-hand side and attacks now for Seattle. Up to Martins, 30 yards out, back to goal, flicks it right wing for Roldan, who has to chase it towards the sideline. Now into the corner flag position, where he's tackled by Rodney Wallace at the expense of a Sounders throw-in. Great to see Leo Gonzalez forward again. Last time he was forward, he scored a goal. I think we'll go down in Sounders folklore with that stoppage time third against FC Dallas the other day, when he was in nosebleed territory coming on as a late sub. His first goal in 5 years, and wasn't it an absolute beauty? Meantime, the left midfielder for the Sounders, Aaron Kovar, has chopped down Alvas Pau. Free kick for Portland. Goes all the way back to Nat Borges and now Norberto Paparato, the Argentine central defender. Up until tonight, Portland had kept the same back five in every single match, save for their 1-0 win over DC United, when Borges missed out. They have been remarkably consistent as a back five and figuring things out as they go along this season after a shaky old start, Portland. Here's Borges again, former Real Salt Lake man, up to Valeri, miscontrols, and Martins wins the ball and is brought down by Diego Valeri, 8 yards over halfway. Free kick for the Sounders on the left-hand side. And they will take their time here, but the big men will stay back. Martins getting good body position on Valeri. And the Argentine almost falling over his man. Not known for his tackling, of course. He is a graceful and elegant midfielder, the Portland Timber. Kovar will take this free kick. Seattle with 6 in a line on the edge of the area. 2 hands up from Kovar. Has that graceful left boot, steeples it far post. Rose goes up with Paparato with a break to the byline, wide right. Cross back in by Rose. Comes off Paparato. And it will be the second corner of the game in a match that has yet to see a serious shot from either side. Had Nagel heading well over for Seattle. Rodney Wallace lumping a volley well past the far post for Portland Timbers. It'll be a corner from the right then that Aaron Kovar will take. 3 sub-appearances in MLS this season. Low near post. And a comfortable header pumped away for Portland Timbers. Out for a throw-in midway inside their half then. Wallace was the man who got his header on that. And the referee is very keen to get the throw-in taken from exactly the right place. And he has one of those haircuts that suggests he will be looking at the minutiae. Very tidy, slick over. 0-0, 16 minutes gone between Seattle and Portland in this Lamar Hunt US Open Cup game. Here at Starfire, you're with Cairo Radio 97.3 FM and SoundersFC.com. Free kick for Portland, which will be taken along the back line to Nat Borges. 300 MLS appearances for him. He is a rock and has been throughout his league career. Up to RD, wins a flick header on, chases it himself, but the ball bounces high on this artificial Starfire turf, and the goalkeeper Troy Perkins can come out and comfortably claim. And then will take his time before banging this one long into the warm evening air down the right, looking for Kovar, who switched flanks with Roldan. It comes off Kovar and out for a Portland throw, which is taken to RD. Quickly blocked and blocked well by Evans, and then a miscommunication between Rose and Kovar. Sees that ricochet out on halfway for another Portland throw, and then the ironic chance of the Sounders fans telling Villafana to go back with the throw into the right place, and the referee doesn't bother. Throw-in gate. I can see it now. It's going to have a hashtag all of its own by the end of tonight on Twitter. Here comes Nagby down the right wing for Portland. Low cross into the 6-yard area. Banged away on the volley. First time by Brad Evans. Solidly done by the Sounders captain. Comes back to Borges now on the right wing. A very high, deep cross that it's flicked on by Wallace. And there is a foul by Wallace climbing on his man. And a free kick for the Sounders. Mentioned lots of other games going on tonight One we'll be keeping a key eye on is the Sounders FC2 development team at Real Salt Lake, 0-0 there in the 40th minute, and S2 tonight using no less than 7 academy players, 3 of which are 17 years old. Needs must, given that the likes of Charlie Lyon, the third choice keeper for the Sounders, isn't playing for S2, being saved for the Sounders in case there's an injury crisis at goalkeeper. So a patched up S2 team, and they are performing admirably by the sounds of things at Rio Tinto Stadium. That was a 7-10 kickoff there or thereabouts. Some of the other matches I mentioned, New York Red Bulls with a very strong lineup, beating Atlanta Silverbacks 3-0. You're missing no action here, by the way. Portland throw in. Philadelphia going through on penalties after a 0-0 draw with Rochester Rhinos. Sporting Kansas City from a Graham Zusi goal, beating St. Louis FC by a 1-0. They're into extra time at Toyota Park. Chicago 0, Louisville City 0. Final score from the Garvey Rosenthal Stadium: FC Dallas 4, OKC Energy 1. And it looks like Colorado Rapids are going through to round 5. They are 3-0 up over Colorado Springs with around 15 minutes to go there. The only other game I haven't mentioned, 6 minutes deep, San Jose 0, Sacramento Republic of the USL 1. Portland Timbers coming forward here with Fernando Adi, D of the area, back to goal, falls down under a challenge by Marshall. No free kick, says the referee. Seattle will come away with the ball. 0-0 here. Kovar forward to Leo Gonzalez. Neat little combo. Room to run over halfway. Gonzalez launches it crossfield to the thigh of Roldan. 20-year-old takes it down, short infield to Rose, offers it a bit too much there to Fashive, and Rose has to lunge in to try and recover it, kept his studs up, and that's a yellow card as he goes through the young Portland midfielder. And Rose accepts his punishment. It was rather unfortunate because he was just chasing an errant pass, and in attempting to recover the situation, gets himself into Daniel Radford's book. Well, for the benefit of our viewers on the stream, we can see there Rose lunging in, and no complaints with that being a yellow card, as now Chad Marshall gets in a tangle with Diego Valeri, and it's a free kick for Seattle in their left back position. Helter-skelter, stop-start. No goals. The Sounders with an incredible record here at Starfire. They're unbeaten in the US Open Cup. Stretches all the way back to when they were a USL side. Their first game here in the Open Cup in 2005 against the delightfully named Salinas Valley Samba. Since then, they have powered on through. And in their 6.5 years as an MLS team, Seattle have only lost twice in the whole competition. As Rose comes forward, middle of the park here, into Nagel, edge of the box, tries to find Martins, tickled away by Borges and slapped clear by Rodney Wallace to halfway. Marshall for Seattle wins a towering header. Flicked on by Kovar, nodded away by Powell, flicked on by Valeri, who was being tugged down by Michael Azera, and it will be a Portland free kick 5 yards behind the halfway line. And again, this staccato game just rolls on as such. It's back to Adam Quaresay in the Portland Timbers goal. Long ball headed away by Evans for the Sounders, who times it well and finds Roldan, who miscontrols. Given away to Powell, the right back for Portland, on halfway now for Shive. Low to the left, inviting Villafania to run. A 1-2 now with Rodney Wallace. Wallace goes outside, gets found by the ball through the legs of Fisher, but Wallace rather errantly had strayed into an offside position, and a cheap free kick for Seattle. Must already have been 15-20 blows of the whistle in the first quarter of this game, but quite often that's cup tie football for you. This game must be decided tonight. Extra time and penalties if required. Seattle 0, Portland 0 on Cairo Radio 97.3 FM and SoundersFC.com as Evans clears 10 yards off his own line, scooting backwards. Troy Perkins came but didn't get it. Villafania now midway inside the Sounders half on the left. Back in field to the veteran Jack Dewsbury. who chips the ball to the right wing on the foot of Alvas Powell. 1 assist for him this season. It's a high hanging ball into the box and an easy claim for Troy Perkins. Washington State Parks offers spectacular locations, historic structures, cultural programs and events all across Washington. Discover your state parks. Visit parks.wa.gov today. High ball in the centre circle that Rose wins for Seattle to the chest of Martins. Slightly over elaborate back heel finds for Shive of Portland, who'll give it short to Dewsbury, and the Timbers come down their right with Powell. Asking Adi to run down the right wing here, and again Marshall gets a good foot in, and then Adi holds back Chad Marshall. And it's a free kick for the Sounders. Well, Adi, one of those awkward, angular strikers, scored 2 late goals in the Timbers' last game, a rousing victory against New England Revolution down at Providence Park. But over the past season or two, Chad Marshall has done a supreme job of keeping him in check. Just one of the reasons why Chad Marshall was voted best defender in Major League Soccer last year. His 3rd title of his career. Free kick taken, it's back with Troy Perkins now, who come out of the Sounders area and float a 60-yard ball to the right. Goes over the head of Roldan and Villafana. Paparato toes the ball out of play under pressure from Martins, who throws in quickly for Nagel, only Sounder in the area. A pumped header away by Borchers though. And that's out where it came from for another Seattle throw in. Rose back to O'Neill Fisher. Chips it down the line to Roldan. Difficult to control. And again, this surface, it's difficult at best to play on. As now it goes long for Portland, and Adi backing into Evans, who falls over. Adi keeps control. Square infield to Nagby. Seattle have men back though, as that Nagby plays a lovely ball down the left wing to Diego Valeri. Low left edge of the area, gets past his man Fisher, pulls it back towards Dewsbury, and blocked away by Michael Azira. Kept in on the byline by the right corner flag by Evans. He will clear away crossfield into space for Aaron Kovar, as Portland for the first real time threatened there. Seattle on the break, through the middle now with Martins, lays it left hand side. The fullback Gonzalez is well up. Infield again to Martins, who's almost acting playmaker here. Clint Dempsey on the bench tonight. Azira now 40 yards from goal, inside right channel, lays it wide low to Fisher. Only 4 MLS minutes for O'Neill Fisher. Did start against Club Tijuana in the early season Mexican friendly and impressed. Getting his playing time with S2 though this year, as now Chad Marshall plays a simple pass out of play behind Leo Gonzalez, and it stays 0-0 with 20 minutes to go in this fervorous first half. It really has been a very, very fast-paced game. By the way, huge news for you coming from Rio Tinto Stadium. And how about this? At half-time, Real Salt Lake 0, Seattle Sounders 2-1. The young S2 side, through Sam Garza's goal in the 2nd minute of first half stoppage time, is the difference on a night that could prove to be huge for the Sounders overall. Sam Garza has been in terrific form all season for S2. What a story developing over in Utah. That, as I say, half-time, S2 leading the MLS side. By the way, they're the only MLS-affiliated team left in the tournament. And as further clarification, Seattle Sounders and Seattle Sounders 2 can't meet in the tournament unless, of course, it will be the final, as Kovar from a wide angle slaps a volley towards goal. Adam Quaresay watches it into the side netting. And that's the closest any team has come. But Quaresay, I would comfortably conjecture, had that one if he needed to go for it. Yeah, Seattle and S2 could only meet in the final, as at the moment, fanciful as that seems, the regionalised draw this year still keeps them apart. That draw for the next round on Thursday, and you can watch it live, which makes a change. 0-0 here at Starfire. Alvas Powell, tricky, lovely footwork, dicing away from 2, tripped up there by Kovar, and he stumbled almost platoon style in the famous scene from the film. Gets a free kick nonetheless. Still only 20, Alvas Powell. Third season for him as a Portland Timber. Establishing himself as the #1 right back. Plenty of energy, plenty of pace. As we saw in his late dashing run to assist on the second Addy goal against New England recently for the Timbers. Valeri with the free kick for Portland, bangs it into the one-man wall of Obafemi Martins. Well, face mask or not, he will stand up to whatever is thrown his way. On halfway here, Powell. It's a horrible crossfield ball to nobody, and it's gone out of play. Paparato in the backfield took a bang to his face, and Leo Gonzalez just having a word with him, ever the sportsman. This throw in at right back then for O'Neill Fisher, the 23-year-old Jamaican. A couple of Jamaicans at right back tonight. Gets it back and then slices his clearance into the Emerald City supporters section, where the flags are fluttering. The noise is reverberating. These corrugated roofs here on the main stand, it certainly creates a terrific atmosphere at Starfire as it's thrown in for Portland, and O'Neill Fisher, the right back, gets ahead of Villafania, shepherds the ball out of play, which the home fans appreciated, and it will be a goal kick for the Sounders, as we are still to have a shot on target tonight. Both teams missing key players, 5 of them for Seattle, 3 of them for Portland, but lots of firepower out there. And I mentioned on the bench, Clint Dempsey for the Sounders, Stefan Fry, the Brazilian Tomas, Darwin Jones, who scored 5 goals for S2 this year, Tyrone Mears, who's getting a well-deserved rest, and Dylan Remick, who's established himself as the Sounders' #1 left back this year. You're missing no action. Thrown for Seattle on halfway. Fisher down the right, up to Martins, controls and sprints in field, tries to lay off to Kovar, but it's a weak pass, cut out by Powell, and Portland will break into the centre circle, and Wallace down the right wing now for Addy, and again sticking to him like the most solid of glue is Chad Marshall, who whips that one out of play. Addy takes the throw in quickly, and it goes to the edge of the area where Valeri can't combine with Wallace, and tracking back is Martins for the Sounders. Laid off now by Roldan to Azera, who flicks it low to the right, and O'Neill Fisher, who bangs it long quickly, looking for Nagel. Poor defensive header, out it comes to Andy Rose, and covering again is the whippersnapper Powell, who clears all danger for Portland, and it's a throw in for Seattle, 30 yards from the right corner flag. In by Roldan, 0-0. You're with Cairo Radio 97.3 FM. My name's Ross Fletcher. Thanks for tuning in as well on SoundersFC.com. Here comes Fisher, right edge of the Portland area, into Nagel, all twisting, jinking, turning, but under the pressure of 3 men can't control, and Dewsbury clears to halfway. Evans wins it back for Seattle, down the right to Fisher, early whip ball in towards Martins, headed away by Borchers. Portland will come down their right-hand side with Darlington Nagby. Tries to combine with Valeri. It's something of a surprise inclusion tonight, having come back from ACL surgery and then an ankle sprain recently. Now Seattle down the inside right with Roldan, who bursts past his man, tries to chip it low into the box. Paparato only half clear. Fisher picks up on the right for Seattle. Infield to Rose. Rose 10 yards up to Nagel, who has time to turn. Out to the right wing, and Roldan is offside. And he should have read the line. He was virtually at a standing start. Cheap possession given away. And it remains scoreless. Adam Quaresay will have this free kick for Portland Timbers. Mentioned there was the one game between the teams this season, Seattle winning 1-0 earlier in the campaign. Last season, Seattle dominating the series, winning 3 of 4, scoring a bucket load of goals in the process. Alvas Powell is down injured, by the way, inside his own box here, so while the Portland man gets treatment, we will continue elsewhere with that look back on 2014. It was 4-4 at Providence Park early season. Dempsey hat-trick. Magical moments for the Sounders. The 3-1 win here in the Open Cup quarterfinals for the Sounders after extra time. Goals that day by Ozzy Alonso, Darlington Nagby, then in extra time Kenny Cooper and Marco Papa. 2-0 victory for the Sounders just a few days after that at CenturyLink Field, before a thumping 4-2 victory down at Providence Park. But just the one meeting of these teams in the Open Cup previously. as MLS sides. They did meet 4 times before that, though. Seattle winning 3 times, and Portland had a solitary victory. But it's all about the here and now, and it's Seattle 0, Portland 0 with 12 minutes to half-time. Powell is back up and just shaking off that knock by the Timbers bench. So they're temporarily down to 10 men as he takes a lusty swig of water. Free kick for Portland then with the goalkeeper Adam Quaresay, who will heave it long down the left-hand side and out of play on the full. And the most unsurprising piece of news today, he apologises with his hand to his fellow Timbers. Thrown in for O'Neill Fisher now for Seattle. Short infield to Azira, still inside his own half, is robbed by Rodney Wallace. Now Valerian to Adi, 30 yards out, down the middle, waiting for support down the right. There's none coming though, because still Alvas Powell is recovering. He's finally back on the field, and Seattle have got the ball on the counter-attack with Roldan. It's a bustling run, till finally he runs out of real estate under pressure from Alvas Powell, imploring the referee to give him a free kick, and is still remonstrating with Daniel Radford, who says nothing, and it's a Portland throw-in which is taken, and Powell, and again for Portland, inexplicably they just knock it out of play, mirroring Adam Quaresay from moments ago. Thrown in quickly, now Kovar down the left wing for Seattle, beats his man Powell and wins a corner as Powell gets back in with an all-effort sort of a challenge. 3rd corner of the night, and Powell once more stays down. And once more, the trainer comes on. Still to see a shot on target tonight. For our listeners on Cairo Radio at half-time, we'll have analysis from Jason Rance, Wade Webber and Peter Fewing. For SoundhouseFC.com viewers, we'll bring you the half-time highlights in pictures, of which I don't think there'll be too many, as I mentioned, yet to see a shot on target. But it's feisty. It is a typical cup tie. One of the reasons you love moments like these, US Open Cups at Starfire, they are unique in North American sports. There is a change for Portland Timbers, who brought on Taylor P.A. This corner's whipped near post. Not a great one. Valeri can fire it away. Seattle have it again now with Leo Gonzalez from 45 yards out to the right wing, and Rose heads it back into the area, and Paparato can balloon it behind for a 4th corner for the Sounders. So I mentioned that change made. Taylor P.A. is on for the Timbers. Aaron Kovar will have this corner though for Seattle, looking to get their noses in front before the half-time whistle. 9 minutes to it. Corner taken, referee stops and wants to have a chat with Chad Marshall. And he's defending that Borchers. Funny business at the far post. Always shirt tugging everywhere, and Radford again looks at the two. Borchers has his arm almost wrapped around Chad Marshall before the corner's even been taken. And Kovar will bang the corner in. Headed through the area by Adi. And out for a Sounders throw in. It was not the most convincing clearance. So as I mentioned, Alvas Powell couldn't continue, hence the change with Taylor P.A. coming in. A former Seattle Sounder U23 player. Went to the University of Washington, so he knows what occasions like these are all about. As Kovar loads up a long throw from the left, headed through the area again by Adi, and it came wide right in the box to Roldan, who couldn't quite get the angle for the shot. It was a difficult one. It came off Jorge Villafana, the close attending defender. Throw in right-hand side, which Roldan takes short, gets it back from Rose, 10 yards from the corner flag. Low near post, Wallace gets it half away, and then smash clear by Adi, who is caught late by Brad Evans. And that will be the 2nd yellow card of the evening. And the 2nd Sounder, or rather the 2nd player to go into the book. Andy Rose with the 1st yellow card. Just caught his man late there. Little protest from Evans. More a mistimed challenge than malicious. Well, for benefit of our web stream viewers, we'll see again as that clearance from Wallace comes towards RD. Evans just a little late. And again, not too many complaints from referee Daniel Radford, who was in a very good position. Just clipped his man. So walking the disciplinary tightrope, the Sounders captain. Long ball for Portland down the left. RD flicks in field and almost collides with the advertising hoardings as Seattle can knock it away. Roll down wins a throw in. And again, the referee wants the throw in brought back all of 7 yards. Well, as long as he's consistent, just don't see that too often in the modern professional game. 0-0. Kovar battling away with Taylor PA. He's a stalk-like figure, 6'2". Now for Shive. Peels it all the way back to Nat Borges midway inside the Portland half. USsoccer.com is your source for full coverage of the 2015 Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. You can also follow coverage of the tournament on Twitter at Open Cup. Addy heads on. He's furthest forward though for Portland, so has to chase his own ball. And on the edge of the box here for Seattle, the keeper Troy Perkins volleys clear, couldn't handle it, had to get there before RD did. It's a throw in for Portland down the right, which is taken quickly to PA. Or Pay rather, my apologies, Taylor Pay. Now Borches to the right hand side, and Pay gets his clearance wrong. It's a second go at it, double teamed and concedes a throw in. Nagel and Kovar with good work for the Sounders. Kovar will have the throw in, exchanges balls with a young gentleman on the far side. Will launch it in from level with the Portland area near post. It's accidentally headed towards his own goal by Jack Dewsbury, but an uncontested catch for the Portland keeper Adam Quaresay. Seattle 0, Portland Timbers 0. 5 minutes to half time at Starfire here on Cairo Radio 97.3 FM. My name's Ross Fletcher. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. Also at soundersfc.com for those who like their pictures to go with the words. Left back for Seattle now, Leo Gonzalez. Short infield to Azira. Work first time to Kovar on the left-hand side. Brings it over halfway. Overlapping now is Gonzalez, who has lots of work still to do. And tries to cut back on Taylor Pay, who brings his man down, but the referee says fairly. Nagby comes away with it, low over halfway to RD. Again, shepherded by Marshall. Brought it back to Dewsbury, though, through the middle to Valeri. Quickly tackled by Azira. It breaks for Portland and Wallace. Down the left-hand side, he goes to Villafania. 30 yards out, wide angle. Back in field to all left-footed Rodney Wallace. Looking in field for RD. Sliding challenge by Evans is a good one. Had to get the timing right. And it's through now for Obafemi Martins in the centre circle. He hasn't seen too much of the ball in advanced position so far this evening, but he only needs one chance. Fisher now down the right wing, attacking for Seattle, cuts back in field, 30 yards out. Square in the middle to Rose, lays it left-hand side and behind Kovar. Pay comes to meet him, one-on-one here, Kovar. Little trick, left foot ball deflected, near post, bounces high. Easy take in the end for the Timbers keeper, Quaresay. And he will take his time too. Thrown down the left-hand side to Villafania. Now Rodney Wallace. Infield he goes to George for Shive. Crosses halfway. Trying to go the long way round Azira, running into trouble. So goes backwards to Dewsbury. Got a minute in the last game against New England. Wallace down the left wing to Villafania, infield to Valeri, now looking to work some magic. Short ball was not a good one for Nagby, invites the challenge by Kovar. It breaks back for Portland and for Shive, and they work down the right hand side for Nagby. In again to for Shive, time and space 40 yards out, low to the edge of the area. Great step by Marshall to get the ball ahead of Fernando Adi. He really has, every pun intended, marshalled his man terrifically well so far. Seattle on the attack left-hand side. Nagel now to Kovar. Back to Nagel down the left wing, waiting for men in the box. Gets to the byline. Stops. Checks. Tries to jink past Pay on his left foot. Still trying to go now, and Pay gets a foot in. Does well. Allows Dewsbury to clear for the Timbers. Up to Adi, shy of halfway. Goes back to Nagby. Infield to Valeri. Being hassled and harried by Azira, and then Gonzalez, who wins it well for Seattle. And then down goes Valeri after the play, and a free kick for Portland Timbers. And not good signs if you're a Portland fan, with Valeri, a mercurial talent, having more than his fair share of injuries of late. I mentioned he's only just recovered from an ankle sprain. Caleb Porter saying before this game, if Valeri starts tonight, there's little chance he'll play against Houston on Saturday. He's back up and feeling it. 0-0, 2 to half time. Big thanks, by the way, to Bootstrapper Studios for today's broadcast. Live streaming sports and events of all sizes. You can visit them at bootstrapperstudios.com. Free kick for Borchers then inside the Portland half. 60-yard smash to the edge of the area. Adi beaten in the air again by Chad Marshall. Cleared by Kovar to halfway. It bounces high. Nagel with a good ball to Martins, forward of the centre circle. Tries to play a through ball for Nagel, one-on-one with Borchers, who gets there first for Portland and clears away to Villafania, who stretches and can only put that one out of play for a Sounders throw on their right. Thrown in quickly to Azira. And then a poor ball for Nagel. Villafania can pick the pieces off, and then Fisher wins it back for Seattle. And you have to say it's all endeavour and energy, but no finesse in these first 45 minutes. No saves for either goalkeeper to make. But as I will remind you as the game grows older, probably several times, there has to be a winner this evening. Probably be a minute or two of stoppage time, as we have 20 seconds until we see that. No goals here between Seattle and Portland in the US Open Cup fourth round. Adi goes to ground with Evans inside the Portland half, and the Timbers can clear long. Bounces high inside the Seattle area, and back Gonzalez goes with a calming header to his keeper, Troy Perkins. 2 minutes of stoppage time in this first half that we're just into. As Evans goes back to his goalkeeper, Troy Perkins. Now it's from deep, Michael Azira planting it long, direct towards Kovar as Taylor Pay misreads it for Portland. It's right by the left corner flag. Back comes Kovar to Gonzalez. First time ball far post, it bounces. Villafania clips it clear. Rose for Seattle, onto Roldan, tackled well by Villafania. Out to Rodney Wallace, who then pushes it beyond Diego Valeri and back into the clutches of the Sounders and captain Brad Evans. Square to the left-hand side at Chad Marshall. Back again to Evans. And short again to Marshall. Valeri pushing up and trying to create some pressure, as it's worked down the Sounders right to O'Neill. Fisher cuts in field on Wallace into the centre circle, and Martins, a sliding challenge by Dewsbury, wins it back for Portland. Nagby dallies on the ball. Martins wins it back. Dewsbury brings him down. Seattle have a free kick, and the home fans are baying for a yellow card. Nothing doing from Daniel Radford there. For the benefit of our web viewers, you can see a mistime challenge in the end by Jack Dewsbury. Martin's okay. Free kick taken in the centre circle by Azira to the right wing for Seattle, and Rose, who controls the ball, still bouncing. Finally by the right wing, he tries to cross it. Comes back off the chest of Jorge Villafania and out for a throw in, taken quickly by Rose. To the right back, Fisher, who's well up. Rose again, level with the area, down the line for Roldan, makes a good move, cuts the ball in the box, takes a deflection, comes out to the edge of the area, where a cushion header by Nagby will find Valeri, and Portland can clear. Back to Nagby down the left-hand side, that trademark burst of speed, caught by Azira, and out to play for a throw-in. And that will be the last action of what has been a frantic, frenetic, full-blooded first half of football. Seattle Sounders 0, Portland Timbers 0 in this US Open Cup fourth round. Neither goalkeeper with a shot to save. Seattle with half chances. Nagel with a header, Kovar wide from the angle 25 yards out. Darlington Nagby hasn't really managed to get in the game too much. Rodney Wallace with a skimming volley that was always going beyond the far post. Chad Marshall has done a terrific job of shackling Fernando Adi. Neither team has been able to combine, though, to any great effect. But it just means The game's drama will crank up the longer we go on. For the benefit of our listeners on Cairo Radio, we'll have halftime analysis from Jason Rantz, Peter Fewing and Wade Webber. I'll be back in a few minutes' time on SoundersFC.com with some of the halftime highlights. But at the interval here, US Open Cup 4th round at Starfire, Seattle Sounders 0, Portland Timbers 0.
The beautiful game. It's played and loved all over the world. But here in Seattle, we think the game's a little more beautiful and green. Young and old, we were all born in '74. Our passion has no age. The city constantly striving. It's going to take all of us to reach the top. Most people would say 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Not us. We're not just here to win. We're here to make history. We'll give you everything we have. You give us your full 90.
Coming to a team like Seattle after being a part of the Portland Timbers, this is going to really offend a lot of people, but I'm thrilled. I think my overall mood and my overall aura, I guess, the day that I knew I was coming here, it changed tremendously. I became a lot nicer of a person, as my wife would say, and a happier person. My workouts were a lot better. But moving here from, especially an arch rival like Portland is, and as close of a rival as it really is, I'd say it's an honor to be here. That a club like this would think that much of me to bring me in. The fan base in Seattle is something very special and very unique. The fan base in Portland, they're always going to say, oh, we can do that, we have it much better. But this is something. I mean, the first day of training, we go out and there's 100+ people waiting on us and cheering us on. And I think as happy as we are as to be back. And you don't get that very often around the world. You know, you go to Europe, yeah, you have the tourists and everyone come around the world, watch you train, but they're not there to really support you like it is here. And just seeing how people get behind the Seahawks the last couple weeks, you know that they love their sports teams. And like the people know their players. I mean, we got guys that I don't even know their names, and guys are like, hey, that's so-and-so. So it's special and it's unique, and I would love to look back years from now and say I was a part of that, and see this become one of the biggest stages in the world.
Does your child want to take their game to the next level? Enroll them in a Sounders FC summer camp. With a wide variety of camps available for ages 4 to 18 across Washington, Sounders FC camp system provides opportunities for boys and girls of all skill levels to develop their game, interact with new friends, and become a deeper part of Sounders FC. Campers will be able to improve their technique in a fun environment that promotes confidence and learning. They'll even get the chance to meet and learn from Sounders FC players. Sign up today at soundersfc.com/camps.
My very first tattoo had nothing to do with classic civilization. It was just a tattoo on the inside of my bicep of a Swiss flag, mainly because when I moved to the States, teammates and coaches started calling me Swiss, to the point where people didn't even know my real name anymore. It was just Swiss. So it just kind of stuck with me, and I'm proud to be born in Switzerland, and I thought I had a really good childhood there, so that was the reason why I started out with that. And once I then got into classical civilization and really went to a lot of classes and things like that, I just kind of got more interested in it, you know. And at the same time, having opened that door of tattoos, I think once you open that door, it's hard to close it, and it's a bit of an addiction. So I just kind of kept going with it, got little things here and there, and turned into bigger pieces and bigger until I ended up getting a whole sleeve. It started with my very first one I have on my right ribs is live and let live, which is a motto I kind of try to live by. And I remember in the beginning I went online, and you know, you can kind of try to translate that over into different kinds of Egyptian hieroglyphics, and you get a different looking thing every single time. So I ended up going to a professor who translated it the right way for me. So that was a good one. And then my second big one on my ribs, it was a book. It was a scene from the Book of the Dead, the weighing of the heart, and there's a special inscription underneath that as well. And then the sleeve turned more into an art piece. But I like all my tattoos. All of them I'm really proud of. Had to earn more with some blood and tears, but I like all of them.
I'll see you in Seattle.
Manchester United in the red uniforms.
I'll be there.
Welcome to Seattle, a true soccer city. This is the one.
I'll be there.
We're all a part of history today in front of this record crowd. Manchester United gets the win. Now let's go back to our guys. It's Rooney. That's how you do it.
I'll be there.
Sensational goal. Greatest soccer goal I've ever seen.
I'll be there.
This is to see how good of a job you two do today. Good. And stretch, guys, stretch.
You gotta be crazy to be a goalkeeper, or stupid.
Get up! Fight it! Fight it! Save.
1 minute you're making all the saves in the game, the next minute the ball's going between your legs and you gotta pick it out of the net, and it's very difficult, and you have to be very mentally strong.
See it all the way in, see it all the way in, see it all the way in.
It's very important to take up good, narrow positions and being set at the moment of impact, being set and being able to react. Sometimes the ball's going 75 miles an hour, and you got to be able to, react in that split second. And that's why it's so important to have a good starting position, but and to move into a good angle so you can react.
Up! Set! Big. It's all right. Hey, that's a good save. Okay, you're under control. Yeah, we'd all like you to catch the ball, but you're under control. You got yourself big. You made 3 fantastic saves there. You're in the position here. I can live with that. Likewise.
Yeah, you don't want to change them if it's been working, but there's certain things you can fine tune.
Wow. Just a little dramatic, Charlie. Why there? The back goal, give up, switch out.
Like with Steph, last year was his footwork and making sure his footwork and his base was narrow enough that he could take a first step and really explode the ball.
Good movement. Good, Steph. Good angle as well. That ball started inside with Nagby, you know, started a foot in, but your angle was good there. You had it covered all the way.
When Troy got here, it was a lot of the same things. It was, okay, maybe we tweak this, but I don't want to change this for you because this has been working.
Good feet. Oh, you got it. Well done. Good start.
You have to be confident. It is borderline arrogance, and it's like, you know what? Go and shoot on me. I'm ready because I've done the work all this week. I'm ready for you to shoot on me now.
Yes. Good move. Good try. Narrow it. Well done today, boys.
Welcome back to the first annual Scarfy Awards.
And the award for Best Worst Dramatic Performance goes to this Timber. Bunch of flopping, tree-hugging.
Sounders FC, award yourself the full 90. Attend the show, soundersfc.com.
Welcome back to Starfire Stadium. Ross Fletcher with you on SoundersFC.com, Cairo Radio 97.3 FM. Seattle Sounders 0, Portland Timbers 0 in the first match for both MLS sides in this year's Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. It's the fourth round stage, having filtered through the amateur sides. And a reminder, this is the only all MLS tie. Because of the way the configurations, the draw worked, there had to be two MLS sides to meet each other. Just so happened it was Seattle and Portland. There's a long and winding explanation that I haven't really got the time or the inclination to tell you about. But what matters is they are deadlocked here. Extra time and penalties if required after a first 45 minutes, which really failed to fire the imagination too much. It was a very physical first half, as we can take a look now at those key moments. And it started off really all hustle and bustle, and you could see the arms and legs were flying. No quarter-astal given. Seattle with 10 fouls in the first half. Portland Timbers with 5. There were 2 yellow cards. Andy Rose there picking up the first for that challenge on George Fashive, and then Brad Evans later in the first half with a late clip on Fernando Adi. The only 2 men in the book. There was an injury as well for the right back for Portland, Alvas Powell, who went off, and Taylor Pay came on. Portland's only shot there from Rodney Wallace. Seattle have had 2 attempts. This is probably what you class as the closest. Aaron Kovar having a go, but Adam Quaresay being able to see that from way out. An update for you from Utah Rio Tinto Stadium. It is now 1-1 between Real Salt Lake and Sounders FC 2. But Pablito Rossi has hit the post. And I've just been told Real Salt Lake have now turned that around in the last few moments and are now leading by 2-1. S2 were 1-0 up at the break. That game kicked off around 25 minutes before this one. So if my 4G ever works, I'll be able to keep you updated. Wi-Fi is even trickier here. Oh, the joys and perils of being back at Starfire. But that's why we love this place. It is different, it is intimate. The floodlights are on. 4,000 plus fans are here in a place you can truly say Seattle have created a fortress. They've never lost at Starfire in the US Open Cup. And we're going back 6.5 years as an MLS side and even further as a USL team. Interestingly, Seattle have changed kit at half-time. I've been calling matches for 17 years, and I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. They are in stark, bright Olympic white now, as opposed to pitch black. Portland Timbers in their usual green and white. How about that? It'll be Portland to get us going. Seattle kicking from right to left, heading towards the beer garden, if that was incentive enough in this second period. I'd like to thank the Sounders fans who handed me a beer through the back window here in our little commentary area. I've left it in case Seattle get through tonight. Then I will have a sup, if and only if. We're underway. Portland with the ball from the kickoff, and it's down their left-hand side with Jorge Villafana, the left-back, asking Fernando Adi to run. He'll chase to the byline with Brad Evans, and then he'll batter into Chad Marshall, who shepherds that one out for a goal kick. And an early look for the goalkeeper, Troy Perkins, who did get some playing time last week for S2 in the 1-0 win over LA here. Got the full 90 against Club Tijuana earlier in the season, so it's not like he's coming in entirely rusty, Troy Perkins. Got the clean sheet against LA, but a savvy, veteran professional, who, rather like Marcus Hanneman the last couple of years, gets the run as #1 goalkeeper for the Open Cup. And on a beer theme, see the way my mind works, wonder whether Perkins will be downing a beer a la Hanneman in last year's Open Cup, when Marcus Hanneman saved a couple of San Jose penalties in the 5th round here at Starfire. To be determined. Extra time and penalties if required, of course, this evening. Portland with the ball. George Fashive down the inside right channel, short to Nagby. Lays it right-hand side to the fullback Pay. Into Valeri, trying to back flick. Blocked by Azera. Away comes Kovar. Over halfway to Nagel. Holds onto the ball and brings in Roldan down the right. O'Neill Fisher is on the overlap here, being found by Roldan, tight to the right touchline, right by the corner flag now. Villafana's blocking his path, and instead he cuts away from Villafana, who holds on to his man, tucking his shirt the whole way. No free kick given. Mild boos from the home fans. To be fair, Fisher did run into Villafana, who stood his ground. Thrown in now by the former Chivas defender. 7 seasons there, Jorge Villafana. Had his best season last year with 17 starts. Comfortably on to eclipse that here, having played in every game. Here's Kovar, brilliantly robs Taylor Pay down the Sounders left-hand side. Clips a cross in far post. Weak header away by Paparato. Turned back by Roldan to Martins. Edge of the area here, back to goal and challenged by Dewsbury. Cleared away by Rodney Wallace, but can't find Fernando Adi, and Seattle have it back. 15 minutes to go in that S2 match, and they still trail 2-1. Now Portland, Adi and Nagby combined. Down the middle he goes. Nagby skips away from Azera, lays it left wing for Rodney Wallace. Time to measure across into the 6-yard area. Valeri goes in, it's there! It's an own goal! Leo Gonzalez at the far post. Portland Timbers in the 48th minute, taking the lead with their very first shot on target. Valeri is getting the plaudits. Seattle Sounders 0, Portland Timbers 1. Rodney Wallace with that cross from the left-hand side. It was a decent whipped-in ball to the far post. It bounced once, and it was actually Valeri who got the touch. Diego Valeri managing to rise highest with that right boot, and from virtually a yard out, gets there. What a turn-up this could be for the Sounders at Starfire. As I mentioned previously, unbeaten in the US Open Cup at their home turf. Lots of time left though, and that really has put a wrinkle in this game. And I mentioned at the start of the match, Caleb Porter, the Timbers head coach, saying the game is a major priority. Quote, wanting to knock off the top team in the tournament last year. I think that defeat in the quarterfinals by the Sounders still rankles. Ended in acrimony for the Timbers with 10 men, with Chara sent off. And Seattle holding the upper hand in 2014 as they rode to the Supporters' Shield. What will the Sounders be able to do in response? You have to say, fabulous for Diego Valeri, one of the league's most skillful players, coming back from a serious ACL and then an ankle sprain. Scored a wonder goal in his first start back at Montreal, and has added to it here with arguably one of his most important goals as Martins brilliantly bustles down the left for Seattle, tries a cross, comes off Borchers, out comes Quaresay 6 yards off his line and smothers Martins there, wriggling away as best he could. No joy in the end for the Sounders, who will have to regroup now as Quaresay puts the ball on the floor and kicks it long over halfway. Gonzalez with a header away. Back it comes though from Portland, and Chad Marshall chests it down to Azira, who flicks it over the top to Martins in space. Gorgeous turn, gets ahead of Pay, who tries to get back at him. Martins with a right foot curler, great save, Nagel's rebound, and it's behind again. Wonderful double stop from Adam Quaresay. Athleticism and agility rolled into one. Martins with a superb turn and shot, brilliantly parried away. Nagel was sniffing for the rebound. He crashed a shot that Quaresay at his near post, managed to tip round the post. Heroic stuff from the Timbers keeper. Corner from the right-hand side for Seattle. 5th of the evening, Kovar near post, headed away by Dewsbury, further nodded out by Villafana, and the pressure relieved. Well, what a moment that was for Seattle. They really hit back hard. And Adam Quaresay standing up to the task. Throw in Seattle, left-hand side, midway inside the Portland half. Down the line to Martins it goes from Rose. Martins now low into the area for Kovar. Turns his man wide in the box, left foot shot. Blocked away by George Fashive for another throw in. Less than 15 minutes to go in Utah, still RSL 2, S2 1. Fashive wins the ball back from Kovar and then takes a tumble under the challenge from Aaron Kovar. And a free kick right in front of the Emerald City supporters, who are vehement in their displeasure. And Adam Quaresay told to get on with it by the referee here, Daniel Radford, because he will try and take as much time off the clock as he can. Long down the right side, again Marshall beats Addy in the air. If I had $1 for every time he'd done that tonight, probably have about 18 bucks. Martins through the middle, looking for Nagel in the edge of the area. Out comes Quaresay again, who snaps to it and clutches onto the ball for Portland. Now kicks it long down the middle for Fernando Addy. Headed away by Fisher, picked up by Dewsbury for Portland. Central midfield now for Valeri, cuts away from Fisher, lays a lovely ball towards Wallace, who can't quite get away from Evans with a vital sliding challenge on the edge of the box. It was deftly dinked by Valeri and very nearly worked. Seattle get it clear down the right, and Nagel is tugged back by Paparato, and that could very well be the first yellow card of the game for the Timbers. He just wrestled his man to the floor, and Paparato sees yellow. And our referee, with the world's most neat and tidy haircut, gets his cards out first time in this second half. Free kick halfway for Seattle. I'm just jealous of Daniel Radford's looks, I tell you. It's a neat, flashy haircut. Far post ball here by Chad Marshall. Headed across area. Paparazzo gets it clear. Now O'Neill Fisher lobs a high header back into the area. It pinballs off a couple of players until finally lobbed clear by George Fashive. Bounces in the centre circle where Evans has to back flick to the penalty centre spot. Frenetic stuff again. Rose wins out, finds Nagel through the middle for Martins. Great first time control in a difficult space. Pay miscontrols for Portland. Taken over by Martins again. Reverse pass looking for Rose 12 yards out. And again the keeper for Portland, Adam Quirase, is right on top of that. Seattle have upped the level here. They are firing back a goal down to Portland. Diego Valeri in the 48th minute. From a Rodney Wallace cross. It's out of play for a Timbers throw. Left-hand side on halfway. Down the line by Villafana. Flicked on by Adi to nobody. Marshall heads solidly clear over halfway for Seattle. Picked up by Nagel. Shortened back to Rose. Chipped down the right line for Roll. Down to run onto it here. He's got ahead of Jorge Villafana. Waiting for support. No one in the box. Pay leaves it. The Portland man with a mistake. Kovar to Martins. Back to goal edge of the area. Left-hand side now to Kovar. Nagel slips in the area. Cross can't get away, though. Cleared by Taylor Pay. Up to Valeri. Chest control back to Nagby, who promptly gives it back to Seattle. Sounders 0. Portland 1. 10 minutes gone, second half. You're with Cairo Radio 97.3 FM and SoundersFC.com. Seattle down the right line now to Nagel from Roldan. Roldan gets it back. Nagel once more. 16 yards from the bar line. Bangs across it. Here's a chance. Kovar. Fantastic save again by Quirase. Goalkeeper in utterly inspired form. You thought for all the world Kovar had got that one. 4 yards out and smothered supremely by the Ghanaian goalkeeper. Well, we didn't have a shot on target in the first half. Portland Timbers score with their first, and it has ignited Seattle. But it's the Timbers who are sitting the prettiest right now. And Fernando Adi tries to spin away from Marshall, right wing for Portland. 5 yards from the byline, edge of the area. His pass is blocked by Chad Marshall, who then tries to slide it away and does well. It's out for a throw-in. Let's see where the referee wants this one taken from. No complaints as Pay chucks in. Gets it back from Nagby, gives it again to Nagby, all right-hand side, gets away from Rose, cutting in field. Now Rodney Wallace, 30 yards out, short and square to Dewsbury. Villafana's on the overlap here, misplay pass though by Dewsbury. And the Sounders right back, O'Neill Fisher can clear the ball off Jorge Villafana and get a throw-in for his team. A reminder on the bench for the Sounders, outfield players at least: Tomas the Brazilian, Darwin Jones, Tyrone Mears, Dylan Remick, and one Clint Dempsey. I do wonder whether we'll see him tonight. In an ideal world, Ziggy Schmidt would have rested him, but I can see Dempsey warming up on the far side, as he is with the rest of the substitutes, going through some stretching exercises. Seattle trailing 3 minutes to the hour mark. Martins has come very deep to play make here. Shows his frustration with nothing on. Instead it's worked left-hand side to Gonzalez, into Azira. It's a poor first-time ball flick down the line though, and Pay can collect for Portland at right back. Short infield to Fashive. Out to the right-hand side, and Valeri now. Up low to Adi. First-time ball down the right wing for Nagby, who's in time and space here. One in the box. It's Wallace near post. Nagby overhits his control, and a tackle temporarily stops him from Azira. And now Wallace has to beat three players and can't do so. Leo Gonzalez with the rugged, rigorous defending. And away to Martins, who cuts in field and beats Fashive. Obafemi Martins is really up for this one. Lays it right-hand side in space for O'Neill Fisher. 35 yards out, tickles it down the line for Roldan. Edge of the area, tries across, comes back off Paparazzo. Corner number 6 for Seattle. Kovar will come to take this corner. Seattle will bring up Chad Marshall, the big man at the back. Brad Evans is there too. Andy Rose has been a threat at the far post, some set pieces this season for the Sounders. Kovar, right-hand side, high, left foot ball, far post, asking Marshall to go. But there again is Adam Quirase, the Portland goalkeeper, to catch the ball and roll it and take as long as he can before clearing long. Bangs it down the middle. Adi chests it down ahead of Brad Evans, the Sounders captain, on a yellow card, as is Andy Rose. And now Dewsbury down the left-hand side, pushes it to Rodney Wallace, edge of the area, peels it back to Adi, back to goal, into Valeri, right foot chip over the bar from 23 yards. You could see what he was trying to do there, but it will be a goal kick for the Sounders. We can finally get back to that great chance for Aaron Kovar. Right wing ball in by Nagel, and it was a stunning, stupendous save from Adam Quirase. Nagel did brilliantly, banged the ball in. Kovar did almost everything right on his own. You thought it was a surefire goal, and that was inspired goalkeeping by the Ghanaian. We're now going to see a change for Portland Timbers. One Argentine for another. Diego Valeri off on the hour mark. Gaston Fernandez on, who's used to his role as a sub. 12th time he's come in from the bench this season. 2 goals since June, though. Seattle, though, are the team needing to score. 4 minutes left in Utah. Real Salt Lake 2, S2 1 still. 54 minutes gone, San Jose 0, Sacramento 2 now at Avaya Stadium. That could be a real shock. USL beating MLS. Portland throw-in, flicked on by Wallace down the left, banged away by O'Neill. Fisher into the arms of his coach, Ziggy Schmidt. Gives it to Villafana, who'll throw in for Portland to the new man, Gaston Fernandez. Short crop blonde hair, a couple of sweatbands on his wrists. A busy Argentine with flashy white boots. Quirase kicks long out of the Portland area, headed away by Leo Gonzalez for Seattle. Flicked over the shoulder by Rose. Martin's coming from an offside position. Easy Portland possession. Adi now up on the right-hand side. Good hold-up play to bring in Nagby. Tight to the right touchline. Takes on Leo Gonzalez for pace. Peels it back towards Adi, slightly ahead of him. Azira tidies up for the Sounders, and Rose goes to the left, and Aaron Kovar. Down the line again to Andy Rose. Battered into by Jack Dewsbury. A couple of bad fouls. First, one on Aaron Kovar and then on Andy Rose. And the referee says it's the first infringement for the free kick. Saw no advantage. Nothing wrong with that. But could quite easily have given Seattle a more advanced free kick for the second infringement. But he made his mind up. So there's that. Long free kick by Chad Marshall. Headed away by Norberto Paparato. Roldan gets 2 headers on it for the Sounders. Up to Martins, nods it back to Rose. Back again to Martins, 40 yards out, back to goal. Quick step over, doesn't beat for Shive. Now one touch to Kovar. Lovely back flick to the left wing on Gonzalez. Ball play, far post towards Nagel, just beyond everybody. O'Neill Fisher has sprinted to keep it in by the right corner flag for Seattle. Into the box, roll down, back flicks it to Rose. Rose with a shot straight at Quirase low from 16 yards out. And the goalkeeper can smother that one. But a beautifully worked chance by Seattle. And again, going very, very close, knowing they need to step on the gas. This half in stark contrast to the first. Now Seattle can come down the left-hand side. Andy Rose into Martins, 30 yards out, running at the back 4. Borges backs off him, wide angle, tries a shot just past the far post. 10 yards out. Not sure Quirase would have had an earthly over Femi Martins with a purposeful, punishing run that didn't quite bring its rewards. But right now, there's only one team trying to get this goal. It stays Seattle Sounders 0, Portland Timbers 1. Quite clearly, the Timbers happy to bunker in. I mentioned Seattle have never been beaten at Starfire in the US Open Cup. They have 27 minutes to get a goal, turn that situation around, and maintain the proudest of proud records. The defending champions down a goal to Portland right now. Throw-in gate. O'Neill Fisher. Down the line he goes to Nagel. Looking for Martins infield. For Shive is there, but Rose wins it well for Seattle. Finds Kovar. Middle of the Portland half. Plenty of options left-hand side. Gets it back from Rose. Back against a Rose infield. Standing start here. Portland with 10 players behind the ball. Just Adi perched on halfway. As Rose goes down the left wing here. Tries to take on for Shive. Falls to the floor. Fair enough challenge. Down the line now. Come Portland to halfway and Fernando Adi. Back to Gaston Fernandez. Short to the right and for Shive. And back again to the substitute fullback Taylor Pay. Bangs it long. Anywhere will do for Portland, and chested down by Brad Evans as last man as an outfield player for Seattle. Gives it short to Marshall, who steadily chips the ball up to the feet of Martins, whose back flick layoff won't find Kovar. Pay intercepts at Portland. The Timbers will come down the right with Gaston Fernandez, who's all tricky footwork and close control. It breaks freely to Nagby now, 35 yards out, chip to the edge of the area. Wallace with a first-time layoff. Addy can't spin and turn on Fisher, who does very well. And then finally Azira comes in to flick it clear, battling incredibly hard. Fleeting moments there for Portland Timbers, but Seattle are coming again down their right. Roll down looking for Nagel. Cleared away by Paparato. Down the left-hand side to Villafania. Muscled off the ball by Michael Azira, who slips on the running track on the far side, or rather the asphalt surface. He's okay. Thrown in down the right line, looking for Nagel in all physical arms and legs tugging battle as Paparato clears it ahead of him. And we're back to the quick changes in possession again as Seattle 0, Portland Timbers 1 with 25 minutes to go. Final score, and S2's terrific run in the US Open Cup has come to an end. 2-1 Real Salt Lake. Sam Garza had given S2 the lead just before half-time there. Goal kick here, Seattle 0, Portland 1, 25 minutes to play. Other scores tonight from the fourth round. New York Red Bulls 3, Atlanta Silverbacks 0, Philadelphia 0, Rochester Rhinos 0, the Union going through on penalties. Sporting Kansas City 1, St. Louis FC 0, Chicago 1, Louisville City 0 after extra time, Dallas 4, OKC Energy 1, Colorado 4, Colorado Springs 1, and still playing San Jose Earthquakes 0, Sacramento Republic 2. Portland coming clear down their right-hand side with Darlington Nagby. Keeps it in play. 40 yards from goal wide position now. Peels it infield to Adi. Gives it back to Nagby. Portland happy to retain possession. If they can see the game out, they would be well pleased. There's a ball now from Pay up to Adi. Holds off Marshall way over with a left foot shot from 30 yards, which can be described as speculative at best. And now Seattle wanting to get a move on with this. Troy Perkins will batter it long. Down the inside right channel. The home fans sing "Build a Bonfire" towards their Timbers opponents. Evans down the right to Fisher, lovely pirouette away from Wallace, bursts down the right towards Martins, slightly behind the Nigerian, and from the D of the Portland area, Borchers can hack it to the right-hand side and find Nagby. Under pressure from Gonzalez, loses out. Kovar in field to Rose now, back to Kovar, yard in from the left touchline, midway inside the Portland half. Rose up to Martins, thought about leaving it, then tried to scoop it towards himself, couldn't get hold of it. Paparato gets it away. Missed clearance by Evans, who is apoplectic with the referee and thought he was pulled by Adi. Referee says no, ball broke backwards anyway to the Sounders goalkeeper Troy Perkins. Out to the left-hand side and Leo Gonzalez. Short over halfway is Martins now. Holds off for Shive. Wide to the left side and Kovar. One of a number of terrific chances in this second half for Seattle, Aaron Kovar. Martins skims away from Fashive, down the left wing for Kovar, pulls it back near post, Nagel miscontrols, nearly comes out to Rose, cleared away poorly by Fashive. Fisher tries to bang the cross back in, comes off Villafania. Away come the Timbers with Gaston Fernandez, and now the counter-attack as he spins it to the left-hand side of Villafania. Evans slips, Villafania tries to beat his man a second time and does so. Now cuts back on the edge of the area, has his shirt pulled by Brad Evans, and it's a free kick for Portland Timbers, right where they want it, and right where the Sounders don't. And now the referee is going to call over Brad Evans, I think, for that challenge. He's already on a yellow card, of course. As you could see there, he just caught the arm of the defender. It's going to be another yellow. Brad Evans has been sent off. Brad Evans has gone for a second yellow card, and Seattle, a goal down, will have to play the remaining 21 minutes. A man down as well. The captain makes a slow and solemn walk back to the locker rooms. A huge moment in this cup tie. No real protest from Brad Evans. Taking the punishment, wiping his brow. Villafaña is still receiving treatment following that challenge. And the incline on the mountain to climb got that a little steeper for Seattle. A team used to battling from adversity. They showed tremendous spirit in several comebacks last season. You saw in the 4-4 draw at Portland how they refused to give up early last year. The late win at FC Dallas early in the campaign as well. Late win over Real Salt Lake. Villafaña clutching his left thigh as he hobbles off the other fullback to have problems tonight for Portland Timbers. For the benefit of our video viewers, you can see the tug from Evans was clear. Villafaña in an attacking position. Evans went back in to try and win the ball, but it was too late, and Daniel Radford said red card. And as I said earlier, no complaints from Brad Evans on that. Now the Sounders are making some changes. Clint Dempsey is coming on for Aaron Kovar, Sounders' joint leading scorer. Rapturous applause for him. There will be another change too. Christian Roldan is coming off and Dylan Remick is coming on. Remick rested to the bench tonight, having established himself as the Sounders' first choice left back. So a switch around with a man down, and now Seattle facing this free kick. Gaston Fernandez from the left. It's a poor one, floated straight into the arms of the former Timbers goalkeeper Troy Perkins, who will look up and urge his men forwards. Leo Gonzalez is now playing central defence alongside Chad Marshall. Dylan Remick has slotted into left back. And you have the forward thrusts of Nagel, Dempsey and Martins. Remick, his first touch down the left wing here. Looking to get past Taylor Pay, bangs across off the shins of the youngster, and it breaks to Darlington Nagbe, who will casually jog clear with the ball. Now piercing ball into the centre, and Fernandez on halfway, lays it left wing for Rodney Wallace. Wallace in field to Fernandez, a Rabona down the left-hand side, looking for RD, away by Chad Marshall. Back into Fashive for Portland on halfway. Left-hand side to Villafaña. Low up towards Adi. Tackled away brilliantly by Marshall, who again has the Nigerian's number. Rose purposefully charging down the right wing. Chips it in field towards Dempsey. In a physical challenge with Dewsbury, wins it away. It comes back to Martins for Seattle. Up to Nagel, 30 yards out. Left of centre. Joining in is Remick now. Left foot cross, early ball. Free header away for Paparato, which doesn't get much distance. But Dewsbury has time to control for Portland and then smash it high over halfway, where Leo Gonzalez can head to O'Neill Fisher, the Sounders right back. Seattle 0, Portland 1, 17 minutes to go. As tense as it could be at Starfire, as now O'Neill Fisher wrestles Gaston Fernandez to the floor, and it's a Portland Timbers free kick in the middle of the park. Taken short, or rather it won't be taken yet by Fashive. Finally takes it short to Villafaña. Out to the left-hand side, and Rodney Wallace. Again, Timbers happy to soak up the possession here. Seattle with Nagel left midfield, Rose in the middle alongside Azera, Dempsey and Martins up front. It will be an ever-shifting sort of formation as Pay fouls Dempsey on halfway. Seattle will take it for a 0. Back he goes for Chad Marshall now inside the Sounders half. Fernandez thinks about pressurising Leo Gonzalez in the centre circle, and the left back now in central defence will smash it to the right-hand side high. Beaten away by Villafana for Portland, and Rodney Wallace to halfway where Gonzalez does enough to put off Fernando Adi. Marshall for Seattle, short to the left-hand side, and Dylan Remick. Now Remick infield to Azira. Over halfway to Dempsey, short to Martins, back to Dempsey. Plenty of work to do here. Dempsey trips, no foul, thought he was clipped. Referee in a good position, play on. Now Villafana down the left-hand side. Infield to Jack Dewsbury. Up to halfway and Fernandez, back to Dewsbury. First time ball left-hand side for Villafana. And Portland now looking to wring everything they can out of this man advantage, with the Sounders captain Brad Evans sent off for 2 yellow cards some 7 minutes ago. And that's why Seattle, well, not rather why, but Seattle facing an uphill battle, trailing 1-0 as well. Pay with a cross, low, comes off Remick for Seattle, cleared away by Nagel to Dempsey on the left-hand side and halfway. Crosses that divide and then blocked by George for Shive. And Nagby finds Dewsbury in time and space. Borchers into Fashive. Here with Ross Fletcher on Cairo Radio 97.3 FM. Home fans trying to rouse their team. Jack Dewsbury from halfway. Turns away from the attentions of Martins and finds Villafana on the left. Gets it back to Dewsbury, crosses halfway now, low down the line for Rodney Wallace, back to goal, 45 yards out. Square infield to Fernandez, short to Nagby. Quick 1-2, Nagby again to Fernandez, working the angles, finding some room. Pay, the fullback, is well up. Gives it infield to Nagby, chased by Nagel. Nagby goes back to Fernandez. Nagby again, and now George Fashive. Seattle just can't get near the ball. Portland, the team that came off a week's break. Seattle in a run of 3 home games in 8 days and missing 5 key men tonight. Portland missing 3 of their first choice players too. But no Scott, Alonso, Pineda, Barrett or Papa. As Portland come with Adi, left edge of the area. Holds off Andy Rose, flag is up for offside. Free kick for Seattle. Taken now for Leo Gonzalez, up to Clint Dempsey. Remick down the left-hand side. 4,022 is the attendance. The vast majority willing Seattle to try and get an equaliser as Martins puts a low cross to the edge of the box. Long away by Villafana for Portland. Marshall picks up and plays it right for Fisher for Seattle. Down the line for Rose. Holds off Villafana. Back in field again now to Fisher, who's well forwards. Dempsey wants it square. Gets it. 35 yards from goal. Looks up. Feigns a shot. Tries to check and twist away from Fashive. And he's finally gone to Remick on the left-hand side, who cuts in field and uses the space offered to him and tries a shot just past the near post. Adam Quaresay was caught cold by that. Leaden-footed. Remick having a go from distance, and the swerver very nearly brought its rewards. Quaresay was absolutely sure it was going far post. And that was a half chance for Seattle. 0-1. The goal for Diego Valeri in the 48th minute from Rodney Wallace's cross. Centre circle for Seattle and Dempsey. Short to the left and Nagel. Up to Martins now. Martins left-hand side for Remick. 4, 5 white Sounders shirts joining in as Nagel gets it inside left channel. Back he goes to Azira, closed down by Fernandez. Low to the left and Remick takes on the defender Taylor Pay. Tries to get past his man and Pay slides in, knocks it behind for a 7th Sounders corner. It's on the left-hand side. Every Portland man back for this. There are 5 Sounders players in the Portland area. Martins offers short, is tracked by Fashive, so Nagel says no. We'll wait for Martins to get back in the 6-yard box. Right foot, in-swinger, far post, up goes the keeper, doesn't get it! It's in! It's in on the far post! Final touch by Nat Borchers, but Obafemi Martins will claim it! 1-1 for the team with 10 men, with 11 minutes to go. They might be a man down, but they are certainly not out. Well, the crowd going absolutely crazy now. Obafemi Martins, scorer in the final at Philadelphia last year. And a big-time goal here from the Nagel corner. Came far post, the keeper's first error of the night, Quara says. He tried to get it but didn't claim it. And Obafemi Martins makes it 1-1. Well, Nagel doing exactly the right thing in waiting for Martins to get to that far post. And he didn't know too much about it, but it doesn't matter. Now, who has the steel, the resolve, the will to win? 9.5 minutes to go. Troy Perkins with the free kick. Chips it right-hand side for Andy Rose, but out of play. Portland Timbers throw in. Seattle 1, Portland 1. You're with 97.3 Cairo Radio and SoundersFC.com. It's Gaston Fernandez through the middle for Portland here, flicked away by Leo Gonzalez. Now Gaston Fernandez picks up again for Portland. Outside of the right boot to the fullback Taylor Pay, who shuffles forwards here, midway inside the Sounders half, into the Seattle area. Leo Gonzalez stoops to head away, rolls out for a corner, right by the right corner flag as Portland Timbers attack. It's a throw in rather, as Fashive gets it, and then cannons a cross in, far post beyond everybody, and that will be a goal kick for Seattle. Well, Portland Timbers have had one shot on target and they scored from it. Diego Valeri. That ignited an almighty response from the Sounders, who had Obafemi Martins' spin and shot brilliantly saved. The Nagel follow-up, just as good a block. Aaron Kovar in the 56th minute with a 4-yard volley that was beautifully stopped by Quara. Andy Rose with a 16-yard first-time shot saved. Obafemi Martins with a great run and angled shot wide. The Evans red card looked to have changed the complexion of this match, but then Remick with a swerving shot from distance, and Obafemi Martins in the 79th minute making it 1-1, and the game back in the balance despite Seattle playing a man down. Their proud unbeaten record at Starfire still stands. If it stays this way for the next 8 minutes plus stoppages, we will have half an hour of extra time. Long ball into the Portland half, headed away by the central defender Norberto Paparato. RD then fouling. Seattle will have a free kick just shy of the centre circle. Chad Marshall will take the free kick. 1-1, high, hanging it into the Portland area. Martins falls down, and then he and Paparato get into it as Paparato clears. Assistant referee just making a note of that as they tangled. Remick now hoiking it to the edge of the Portland box where Borchers heads uncontested clear. Right hand side for Taylor Pay. Looks to take on two, can't go past Dempsey, and Remick wins a throw in on halfway. 7 minutes to play. Referee says hold on, as Seattle are about to make their final change. Leo Gonzalez coming off, Tyrone Mears coming on. The right back, who's established himself as the best in his position in MLS this season with a series of stellar displays by the 32-year-old Englishman. He will slot alongside Chad Marshall into central defence. No goal tonight from Leo Gonzalez, but hey, we had the first one in 5 years on Saturday. Who's expecting? I jest, of course. Nagbe now for Portland, 30 yards out, runs the long way, but not around Martins, who has got through some work rate this evening. He took an accidental kick for his troubles and stays down, and Nagel will keep the ball in and finally tell Remick to put it out of play. Just when Seattle had used their final sub with only 10 men. And the players around him are calling for the trainer. There was nothing more than an accidental collision with Darlington Nagbe, but Martins is screwed on the floor in pain. For the benefit of our web stream viewers, you can see the challenge was clean from Martins, and he just fell, didn't he? He fell on the upended cleat of Nagbe and hit his heel right in the centre of his chest. And it was a very, very nasty accidental fall. So while we have this break, a reminder of the scores around the US Open Cup 4th round tonight here on Cairo Radio 97.3 FM. 1-1 here with 5 minutes plus stoppages to play. New York Red Bulls 3, Atlanta Silverbacks 0, Philadelphia 0, Rochester Rhinos 0. The Union going through 3-1 on penalties. Sporting Kansas City beating St. Louis FC 1-0. Graham Zusi with the goal. Took extra time for Chicago to beat lower league Louisville City 1-0. No such trouble for FC Dallas, recently vanquished by the Sounders. They won 4-1 against OKC Energy of USL. Colorado beating their near neighbours Colorado Springs 4-1. Real Salt Lake downing S2, 2-1. S2 were leading going into the second half through Sam Garza. 7 academy players on the roster this evening for S2, including 3 17-year-olds. Quite the fight by the only remaining development team from MLS to play in the US Open Cup this year. San Jose Earthquakes, the Sounders' next opponents on Saturday, 2-2 with Sacramento. They've turned it around from 2-0 down. As Martins continues to receive treatment, and a stretcher is now out for Obafemi Martins. He has not had any luck with injuries recently, wearing a mask to protect his healing broken nose that he had surgery on, and now clearly in pain, lying carefully down on the stretcher. And Seattle, who moments earlier had used their third and final substitute, will now be down to 9 men, with Brad Evans previously sent off. What drama. Martins being carefully taken away here. Fingers crossed for him. Desperate luck for Seattle. And he's finally taken off the field. 1-1, 3 minutes plus, I would say now, significant stoppage time. USsoccer.com is your source for full coverage of the 2015 Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. You can also follow coverage of the tournament on Twitter at Open Cup. Portland sportingly give the ball back to Seattle for a throw in here in the left back position, as Martins continues to tend medical treatment tending to him. Thrown in, Pay wins the header on halfway for Portland, back towards Remick, who'll leave it for another throw. So Seattle now in the most hybrid of formations. It'll be as fluid as you like, despite a back four. Nagel chasing down the ball on the edge of the Portland area. Pay wins it. Right back can lump it clear, flicked on by Fernandez. Fascinating to see how Portland now approach this with a 2-man advantage. Martins is sitting up on the stretcher still on the far side. 2 minutes to play. 1-1. Fascinating cup tie. Really sparking into life after the break. Portland on the attack. Wallace with a low cross. Turned away near post. Comes back to Villafana. Out to the left and Wallace again. Tried to find Villafania ahead of him. Fisher blocks it, gets away, falls to the floor, manages to keep control, has it wrestled off him by Villafania, who then has it wrestled off him again by Fisher. That is tough and tenacious work by the young right back. Portland with Borchers to the right hand side and Pay on halfway. Martin sits, looks wistfully towards the field, still clearly in considerable pain from that fall. Will there be a winner inside the final minute of regular time? Dewsbury down the right wing for Pay for Portland. Low ball near post, turned away by the outstretched lanky leg of Chad Marshall. Throw in for Portland Timbers. Pay throws back to halfway and Borchers. Martin still sits down. Nagby out to the left wing. Villafania is well up here, level with the Sounders area. His cross caroms off O'Neill Fisher as the ambulance stretcher now is slowly wheeled towards Obafemi Martins. 10 seconds till the board for stoppage time here at Starfire in a game dripping with drama. Fernandez 30 yards out for Portland to the edge of the area. Addy tries to get on it. Mears with half a clearance. Wallace across the area, turned away only as far as Fernandez. Heroic block by Mears. Fernandez shot from 18 yards. Portland come again. Nagby back to Taylor Pay. Wide right position, takes on Azera. Goes outside of him. Low ball near post. Sliced behind, importantly, by Chad Marshall for the very first Portland corner of the game. It's going to be taken by Jack Dewsbury. Every Sounder back to defend this. 2 men down. Dewsbury, far post, comes off ahead of Rose, 8 yards out. Free header clear for Dempsey. Clears the area just for Shive, nods it back in. Free header away for Nagel. Finds Dempsey again, who can run the ball out of harm's way. Back heels it to the left back Remick, who smashes it long first time. 2 Portland defenders get in each other's way. Nagel takes over and miscues his pass. Could have taken the ball on himself. Portland come back though with Villafania out to the left hand side. Fernando Adi has pulled away into Fernandez. Chips it right hand side for Nagby, the man that got the dramatic late equaliser in this game between the teams in the quarterfinals last season. Marshall concedes another corner. 5 minutes of stoppage time, by the way, here. 1-1 on SoundersFC.com and Cairo Radio 97.3 FM. If you're wondering why I'm talking a bit more than usual. Hello, Portland fans, by the way, listening in. Corner, right-hand side, Villafania into the near post. It was a header by Paparato, skimming wide. 8 yards out, he threw everything at it. Wouldn't go. And now Seattle on the break with Rose furthest forwards. Waits for support. Searing crossfield ball to Dempsey, who turns and runs into space. Dempsey, the fresh man. Left wing to Azera. Left point of the area. Hangs across far post. Headed solidly away though by George for Shive. And Gaston Fernandez now, the second half sub for Portland, through the centre circle for Nagby, who's running at the back line. Darlington Nagby brought down by Lamar Nagel, and it will be a free kick in a shooting position. Bang slap down the middle, 25 yards out. We're now deep into stoppage time at the end of this game. If it stays this way, 30 minutes of extra time, and if there's still no winner by then, penalties. The 2 greatest rivals in Major League Soccer slugging it out at Starfire. This free kick is 26 yards out. There's a 4-man wall. It's only a touch to right of centre. Gaston Fernandez is over it. 2-step run up, right foot curler straight down the middle, and easily caught by the Sounders goalkeeper Troy Perkins. Holds onto the ball and now will put it on the floor. Obafemi Martins has finally been put on the ambulance stretcher. And the sad sight of the designated player being taken away from this stadium after the accidental collision with Darlington Nagbe. Seattle on the attack here. Dempsey caught well, caught fairly in the back line by Norberto Paparato. Home fans urging their team on. Everybody standing amongst this 4,000 crowd. Light gently fading now, and the floodlights beaming down as there's a high cross to the far post of Portland, looking for Fernandez, and caught cleanly by Troy Perkins. Can't be too long left of stoppage time now. 9-man Seattle won, 11-man Portland won. Seattle battling back from a man down and a goal down in this second half. Brad Evans sent off in the 69th minute for a second yellow card. Azera on halfway for Seattle, up to Dempsey. Spins into space, accelerates, tries to go past Paparato, flicks it wide, wanted a free kick, Dempsey didn't get one. Villafana concedes a throw in, level with the area, right side, into Dempsey. Waiting for support here. Incredibly difficult to get something going with 2 men down. It's right wing for Rose, takes on Villafana, still going, shout for a handball, nothing doing. Portland on the counter-attack, referee checks his watch, allows Nagbe to sprint into space, Marshall's fallen, that's unfortunate, into the area now, wide left for Addy, pulls it across the area, straight into the throat of the diving Troy Perkins, and that is it for the first 90 minutes. And I say the first 90 minutes because we're heading for extra time. Seattle Sounders won, Portland Timbers won. Seattle coming back after Diego Valeri tapped in on the far post from Rodney Wallace's left wing cross. He couldn't miss them 2 yards. Seattle had a flurry of excellent chances, some tremendous saves from Adam Quaresay, kept it 1-0. Evans red carded in the 69th minute, but then Obafemi Martins 10 minutes later getting one to go on the back post from a corner from Lamar Nagel. Martins then off the field, stretchered off with an injury, since taken away to the ambulance. No update on his immediate prognosis. What we do have here at Starfire is extra time, which will be coming up in a few minutes on SoundersFC.com and Cairo Radio 97.3 FM, because right now, this Lamar Hunt US Open Cup fourth round tie is deadlocked. Seattle Sounders won, Portland Timbers won. Welcome back, Ross Fletcher with you at Starfire Stadium. Shadows long lengthened and gone beyond this venerable place. 4,000 fans now getting to their feet again to cheer back their team, Seattle Sounders. So too the Portland fans, probably around 100 or so, I'd say, hunched away to my right. 1-1. We're heading right now for the first 15-minute period of extra time. Seattle in the white and green, Portland in the green and white. 1-1. Diego Valeri in the 48th minute, Obafemi Martins in the 79th. Seattle have never lost at Starfire, but get this. They were down to 10 men with Brad Evans sent off. They're now down to 9 men with Obafemi Martins stretchered off. Seattle having used all 3 of their subs. Ziggy Schmidt going round to each player individually at that break and willing them on here, looking to preserve that unbeaten Open Cup record here in Tukwila. 7 shots on target for the Sounders, 2 for Portland, including that late harmless free kick from Gaston Fernandez. That now is all water under the bridge. We reset, so to speak. But Seattle are the team on the incline as they are 2 men down. Can they fight through the most arduous of adverse times? Portland in possession at halfway with Jack Dewsbury. Right-hand side for Taylor Pay, the fullback who came on for the injured Alvas Powell in the first half for Portland Timbers. You're watching SoundersFC.com. Also, our radio play-by-play, 97.3 Cairo Radio. If you are wondering why I'm a little more loquacious than usual. There's now Norberto Paparato on the left-hand side at the back line for Portland, over halfway to Villafana. Up quickly to Rodney Wallace, who combines to set Villafana free down the left. Early curling ball far post beyond Adi, who was the only man in the area for Portland Timbers. And it'll come through to Dylan Remick, who bangs it long for Seattle, who are playing a 4-3-1 formation. Give you the team again, as it is. Troy Perkins in goal, back 4 is O'Neill Fisher on the right. Tyrone Mears and Chad Marshall in the middle. Dylan Remick on the left. The 3 in midfield. Rose on the right. Azera in the middle. Nagel on the left. Dempsey on his own up front. And here he is combining with Rose. Takes it chest control. Early shot. 40 yards out. Swivel volley. Quaresay had it covered as it sails over the bar. But a piece of impudence from Clint Dempsey. One of the most creative and crafty players in all of Major League Soccer. For Portland Timbers, Adam Quaresay in goal. They're back 4, right to left. Taylor Pay, Nat Borges, Norberto Paparato and Jorge Villafana. Defensive midfielders Jack Dewsbury and George Fashive in the middle of the park. Darlington Nagbe, Gaston Fernandez and Rodney Wallace. Fernando Adi is up front. Here's Wallace attacking down the left for Portland. Comes in field. Now met by a challenge by Rose. Ball spins to the edge of the Sounders box where there's a pumped header clear by Dylan Remick into the centre circle. Paparato returns it with interest for Portland. Azera heads it above Fernandez and cleared long by the Sounders. Into the dark sky where Nat Borges, with the ever-increasing beard, will play it short to Fashive. Down the right-hand side, Taylor Pay runs out of room. Right in front of the Sounders bench. Both benches, pensive no doubt, on edge. There has to be a winner. We're into 3 minutes of the first of 30 of extra time here. Seattle 1, Portland 1. Remick with the throw for Seattle down the left, over halfway. Pay wins a header, back into the Sounders territory. Azera slices one down the left where Nagel keeps it in. Peels it back to Remick, over the top, asking Dempsey to run. He will charge hard at it, but it's always Nat Borges' ball as he slides a header to his goalkeeper Quaresay, who quickly gets Portland building from the back again. It's with Paparato, only his second game of the season, having started the 1-0 win over DC. Seattle in great form, 3 wins from 4. Portland, 3 straight wins. They've never done that before. Here's Villafana, cross from the left-hand side. It hits Azera, who held his arms behind his back to avoid a penalty call for handball. Now Wallace with a deep cross. Adi and Fernandez taking each other's space. Simple enough for Dylan Remick for the Sounders to collect on the left-hand side and go low down the line to Nagel, who's given it away to Adi. Pirouettes on the ball, peels it back for Nagby, rides a challenge from Nagel, cuts low into the area where Azera reads it really well and finds Clint Dempsey. Dempsey now runs it to the left and back heels to Nagel, 20 yards inside his own half. He cuts a crisp crossfield ball that will be kept in just by O'Neill Fisher, who hurtles down the right wing for Seattle. Midway inside the Portland half, low to the edge of the area, Rose with his back to goal, rides a couple of challenges. Left-hand side to Nagel now, Rose wants it again. Nagel cuts up, right foot shot from 30 yards, well past the left post. You could see what he was trying there, a replica of his goal against Dallas at the weekend, where he spun one into the far corner. Goal kick Portland. Final substitution for Portland. Fernando Adi is coming off and Maxi Urruti is on. Played every game this season, but 7 as a sub. Well versed in this role. 2 goals and an assist for one of the other Argentines on this Portland squad. He will assume the lone striker's role. Might get in on the action here as he awaits across from Taylor Pay, who's taken on Dylan Remick, gets to the byline, pulls it beyond everybody. It'll run through the box to the left-hand side of Rodney Wallace. Peels it back to Villafana, edge of the area, low cross, banged away by Mears. It comes out to the middle though for Shive, who takes too long on the ball. Azera has time to close him down. Good ball though by Vashive, left edge of the area. Wallace lays it across the box, just in front of Nagby. Teasing, tantalising, tempting ball that eventually goes through for a goal kick for Seattle Sounders, who are 1-1 with Portland here. 96 minutes played at Starfire on SoundersFC.com and Cairo Radio 97.3 FM. My name's Ross Fletcher, with you to the conclusion here. The winner will go through to the 5th round. The draw will be made live online on Thursday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time, where the team, whoever goes through, will learn both their 5th round and quarter-final opponent, and also whether they will have home advantage for both or neither of those games. And it will be a regionally based opponent for whoever goes through. Rather like this game, the only all-MLS tie in round 4. Villafana for Portland, inside the Sounders half, to the central channel and for Shive, who flicks the ball casually, correctly to the right-hand side, and Taylor Pay. Short infield to Dewsbury. 34-year-old checks and thinks about a pass and now goes along the back line for Norberto Paparato. The 11 men of Portland, making the 9 of Seattle work as hard as they possibly can. Neither team with a real chance in this second half, in this first period of extra time. Villafana, 35 yards out for Portland. Square infield to Fernandez. Now for Nagby, tried to turn it round the corner for Urruti. Cleared away by Mears in central defence for Seattle. Back for Portland down the left. It's Villafana in the area, turns away from Azera. In the box, tries a shot near post and turned wide. And for a corner by Troy Perkins, who had very little time to react to that one. The shot was from all of 9 or 10 yards out on the angle. 3rd Portland corner as Villafana flicked it with his left foot. Corner from the left-hand side, bang near post. Mears gets in the way. It'll come back to the take of Villafana on the byline, drills it low. And O'Neill Fisher gets in the way, ricochets off him, ricochets off Rodney Wallace, and caroms out for a Seattle throw-in. 98 minutes gone, 7 to half-time in the first period of extra time here in the gathering gloom. 1-1 with Portland taking the lead through Valeri, Seattle equalising through Martins, who's since been stretchered off. Fernandez, lovely ball through to Nagby, space, edge of the Sounders area, D of the box now still going, goes round Marshall, right foot shot, great save Perkins, and the ball goes behind for a corner. A tremendous stop as Nagby waltzed, danced, dazzled his way into the area. Low hit with power. Perkins was equal to it. Nagby, as I mentioned, with that very well-worked equaliser late here in the quarter-final last year. Corner from the left-hand side. It's headed away by Dempsey, edge of the area. Fashive hits it low, it comes off Remick. Through it is for Wallace, who scores! Rodney Wallace rams home the fortunate rebound from 8 yards out. Troy Perkins could do nothing with that. And the Portland players run the length of the field to their bench. The 100th minute of this game. 9-man Seattle 1, Portland Timbers 2. Well, Fashive with the shot from the D of the area. It was bravely blocked by Remick, could have gone anywhere, and it just fell to Wallace, who couldn't really miss, could he? Well, the hardest of fortune on Seattle. Credit Wallace for staying alive to the play. It is a cruel, cruel blow for the 9 men in the Olympic white. Can they do the seemingly impossible and come back a second time? Azera wins a header. Villafaña smashes it away though for Portland. We'll be happy to have the ball down in the Sounders' half of the field. Here comes Seattle. Mears floating it long, looking for Dempsey, headed away by Borges to the centre circle. Nagby now from a route he's knocked down, and all the way along the back line for Portland, who will just tinker with this, keep the ball, and try and exhaust Seattle before the 120 minutes are up. The Sounders have to press, they have to chase the game, and with 9 men pressing up, they will inevitably leave gaps. And they'll quite happily take a gift of possession like that as Quaresay just balloons the ball out of play on the Sounders' right. Thrown in quickly, and Mears goes back to Troy Perkins. Urging his men forwards, waves off Mears, who came short. Launches it down the inside right, over Nagel's head, away by Paparazzo. Azera floats it high to the right point of the Portland box, where Taylor Pay lashes a volley into the centre circle. Mears, one of the relatively fresh Seattle men. Now Portland have it though with Nagby. Back he goes to Pay. Borches inside his own area. 3 minutes to the break. Then there'll be a further 15 minutes plus change. Seattle 1, Portland 2. Paparazzo gets it back from Fashive. Waiting on the ball. Quaresay, the goalkeeper, has it out to the right-hand side, and the other central defender, Borges. Low towards halfway, Nagby, who shows he's been his usual energetic, effective self. Villafaña from the left-back position into the centre circle, and Nagby. Now Wallace. And it's all keep ball from Portland Timbers, as a truly exhausted 9-man Seattle are trying their hardest. But Portland are using the 2-man advantage and the time and space it affords them just to simply keep the ball here. They've knocked 15, 16 passes around the field, and they're continuing to do so now. Villafaña on halfway on the left. Back he goes to Paparazzo. Rose and Dempsey trying to apply some pressure. Borges now heads on. Azera wins a header on halfway, but it can only go out of play on the full on the far side, the Portland right, for their throw in. Both teams have used their 3 subs. If you're just tuning in, Seattle trailing 2-1. Brad Evans sent off with 22 minutes to play for a second yellow card. Obafemi Martin stretchered off with a chest injury after Seattle had used all their subs. The Sounders have won a free kick. Their left-hand side, virtually level with the area. And these moments, set pieces, a huge opportunity to get back on level terms. Seattle will want to grab a goal and take it to penalty kicks. Nagel with the free kick, near post, doesn't beat the first man, and it's headed away by Rodney Wallace. Comes back out to Azira, who smashes it forlornly into the box, where Kwarase will fire it down rather than catch it, just to take 2 extra seconds off the clock. A minute to play in the first period of extra time here at Starfire. Seattle 1, Portland 2. 4th round of the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. Here come Portland down their right on halfway with Fashive. Now, in the middle of the park, Viafania. Out to the left and Wallace, who goes backwards 25 yards to Paparato. It's all quick pass and move from Portland until Fernandez with a mislaid pass picked off by Azira to the centre circle, and Dempsey. Got a lot to do here, Clint Dempsey. And falls over under pressure from Viafania. Seattle win a throw in though. I wonder if we'll see any added time in this first period of extra time. 5 seconds shy of the interval. O'Neill Fisher throws down the right for Seattle. It bounces towards Nagel. Wins it back from Viafania. Tries to spin past 2 players and taken away by Viafania, who is then fouled by the advanced Tyrone Mears. And that will be it for the first half of extra time. Seattle Sounders now trailing Portland Timbers by 2 goals to 1. Rodney Wallace in the 100th minute, grabbing hold of a rebound from a corner for Shive's shot, cannoning off Remick, who tried to block. Wallace couldn't miss. There'll be a quick turnaround here. Officially no time for the coaches to come on, but that rule has never been upheld. And you have to say it's a reasonably warm night. The players, particularly Seattle's 9 men, will be very, very happy to get some fluids on board. Some instructions from their coach Ziggy Schmidt. On the other side, Portland Timbers head coach Caleb Porter doing the same. Will the Timbers break Seattle's long unbeaten Starfire run? The Sounders have never lost in the Open Cup here. We're going back 10 years. Right now, Seattle Sounders need a goal or they're out. Seattle Sounders 1, Portland Timbers 2. Well, let's take a look at the key moments in this match. This is what could be the dagger for Shive's shot. Remick with the block, and it could have gone anywhere, and it went to the foot of the Costa Rican Rodney Wallace, who was unerring in his finish. Nothing really Troy Perkins could do, and the look on his face says it all. So one last heave for Seattle Sounders FC. For Portland Timbers, will they show the nerve to see this game through and make it a 4th straight victory? Just think, there'll be a couple more games between these teams to come this season. Whatever happens tonight, it will up the ante for what remains in 2015. Home fans again rousing their team. Portland Timbers getting going with the possession. Seattle kicking from right to left. Beer garden end they're going for. The 9 men in the Olympic white against 11-man Portland in their traditional green and white. Maxi Arruti in the middle of the park for Portland. Short to Nagby, who tries to skip away from Fisher, lays it low to the right, and the fullback Taylor Pay, who's well up. Into Nagby. The idea just to keep the ball here. Pay has it once more. It's passed down the line, is put out of play by Dylan Remick for a throw in. Pay told to get on with it by the referee. Into Nagby. Chest control, spins away from Azira. Right edge of the area for Arruti. Flicks in the box towards Dewsbury. Cleared and cleared well. And then Dewsbury catching his man late. O'Neill Fisher is down. And the referee will give a yellow card to Jack Dewsbury. After Norberto Paparato, the other Timber, to go in the book tonight. And Fisher has stayed down here. He's holding his right thigh. For our web viewers, we can take another look as Dewsbury came in and clipped his man. Clearly clipped his man a little late. That's why the yellow card came out. These players have been through the mill tonight. Fisher is up again and hobbling, and then rests his hands on his knees once more. Surely Seattle can't go down to 8 men here, as we welcome back our radio listeners on Cairo Radio 97.3 FM. We're a minute into the second period of extra time at Starfire. Seattle Sounders 1, Portland Timbers 2. The opening round of the Open Cup for both these MLS sides, the 4th round technically of this year's competition. Fisher jogs back to recover his position. Free kick for the Sounders. Troy Perkins will take it, chips it long down the left, looking for Remick, who flicks high and on. Dempsey wins a really good header to the left towards Nagel. Tries to hold off Taylor Pay. Controls it well, Nagel here. On to Remick. Tries to get to the byline himself. The covering defender is Jack Dewsbury on the byline. Hammers it out for a throw in. 5 yards from the left corner flag, a Seattle attack. 12 minutes to play. Seattle down a goal. Remick lobs into the box. Marshall was up. Couple of defensive headers away for Portland, who defend it stoutly. And now Fernandez clears and is fouled by Fisher, just shy of the centre circle, as Portland were on the cusp of launching a counter-attack. They'll take this free kick quickly and short. Left-hand side for Jorge Villafana. Earlier tonight, S2, the Sounders development team, were plucky in defeat. They hit the post and were 1-0 up at Real Salt Lake before losing 2-1. What would have been a huge upset, as Portland have it with their right back Taylor Pay. Extra time also at the Avaya Stadium. San Jose Earthquakes 2, Sacramento Republic 2. The USL team were 2 goals to the good. Portland with the ball at right back with Taylor Pay. To Quaresay, misplays his clearance, the keeper. Straight to Dempsey, 40 yards out. Drifts to the inside left channel. Lays it back into the middle in Azira. Out to the right, Amirs, the fullback, who's playing in central defence as a sub. Charges down the wing, wins a corner for his team. 8th of the evening. Right-hand side for it, then Mears will take it. Marshall and Rose at the back post for Seattle. Portland have everyone back but Fernandez. Mears scoops it 10 yards out. Dempsey goes up. Paparato wins the header. Clears the area. Azira nods it back in. Headed away by Borchers. And then Maxi Arruti will collect for the Timbers and can lash it long to Gaston Fernandez. A crossfield ball to the left wing. On this turf, it bounces and skids on and goes out for a throw-in. Azira carries it to halfway for Seattle. Piercing ball down the left wing for Remick. First time in field to Dempsey. Edge of the area. Tries to beat his man. Blocked by a couple of players. And away come Nagby with the ball for Portland on his own byline. Pushed to the right-hand side. Dempsey there almost into top gear, but smothered by a workman-like Timbers defence, who now have 10 minutes to hold on to this. Seattle 1, Portland 2. Pay taking his time with the throw-in, And Daniel Radford, the referee, gives him a yellow card. Throw-ins have been his thing tonight. Cleared away for Portland to the middle of their own half, where it's given away by Rodney Wallace. It's not just the Sounders players who are tired, of course, just that the Timbers have a two-man advantage. Remick will wind up for a throw here and then stops, gives it short to Mears. Back to Remick, infield to Azira first time, tackled by Arruti. Azira wins it back, catches Fernandez in the upper area, and that is a red card for Azira for an apparent elbow, and Seattle will end this game with 8 men. Michael Azira red carded. Fernandez made the most of the situation. Dempsey has now been given a red card as well, has he? Dempsey argued and got a yellow, and the card came out again. And I believe Clint Dempsey has been sent off. Seattle down to 7. Dempsey won't let it lie. Tyrone Mears is pushing him away because he wants to get at the referee, and Chad Marshall also trying to get at him. And this final few minutes is ending in absolute chaos. Seattle with 3 players red carded. Obafemi Martin stretchered off and unable to continue. Azira and Dempsey have both gone. I have never, ever seen a finish like this in my life. Azira came in. There was an elbow, but he wasn't looking at the man. He was trying to play the ball, and the referee said it was red. Dempsey then wouldn't let the protestations lie. He was given a yellow card. He went back for more. It was changed for a red. 7 against 11 in the final 7 minutes. And this is quite extraordinary. The game will end in a bizarre circumstance. 3 red cards, 1 man stretchered off. Is this the end of Seattle's proud, unbeaten US Open Cup record at Starfire? They are playing an outfield formation of 3-3-0. It is quite remarkable. Streams of fans now. Well, some fans streaming out, other fans berating the official. Portland have a free kick on their left-hand side. I have never witnessed a game where 7 men finish the match. Nagbe for Portland tries a shot, takes a deflection off the back of Chad Marshall, and will go out for a Portland 5th corner as it flailed high over Troy Perkins' bar. And I've been calling matches for 17 years. This is quite something. Six minutes to play. Seattle 1, Portland 2. 7 men playing 11. For Shive, jinking away from 2 defenders. Wallace in the area for Portland, wide angle, tries a shot, comes off the already injured Fisher, goes out for a throw, and then Fisher just has to get on with it. Is there one final remarkable twist in this tale? Portland have the ball and they can afford to keep it now for as long as they like. Nagbe, short for Fernandez. Jack Dewsbury from the centre circle floats it right-hand side. There's all sorts of space, inevitably, all over the field for Portland Timbers now. Pay holds off his man Nagel. Down the line for Fashive. Mears comes to meet it. Fashive peels it back for Arruti. Jinks away from Nagel. Low shot, scores! He goes past Troy Perkins, who went over the top of the ball with his dive. Urruti running to the corner flag, and surely that now is game, set, match. Seattle Sounders 1, Portland Timbers 3, and Seattle's unbeaten run at Starfire seemingly over. Well, the Timbers have reversed the fortunes from a year ago when they were beaten 3-1 in extra time in the quarterfinal here, when they had a man sent off. Unfortunate error by Troy Perkins as Urruti got right behind that shot. And I think that sums the Sounders' evening up. Maxi Urruti with his third goal of the season. Portland Timbers fans letting smoke off away to our right. Their flags now fluttering proudly. The Emerald City supporters for Seattle, though, are still going. They're still chanting and cheering, as now there's another free kick coming. Maxi Urruti is brought down. And the referee, Daniel Rafford, telling Andy Rose to get away from the situation. On the far side, there are objects being thrown towards the Portland Timbers bench, towards the officials and the Portland players. And these are sad, sad scenes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please refrain from throwing items onto the field.
And we will wait until order is restored. The referee going over to have a word now with the bench, who are the Portland bench, who are clearly unhappy. They have a right to be very unhappy too, because that is unbecoming of this scenario. And a sad way to see what had been, until recently, an enthralling cup tie. On the field, 2 minutes to play. Portland Timbers free kick. The Sounders trailing 3-1. Portland have it back inside their own half. Taylor Pay at right back. Down the line short to Nagby. Tackled by Lamar Nagel. Nagel over the top for Remick, who's offside. And Portland will take plenty of time over this. A reminder, 3 red cards for Seattle. Brad Evans in the 69th minute. Then in the second period of extra time, Michael Azera for an apparent accidental elbow. And Clint Dempsey for the remonstrations following up. Earlier, Obafemi Martins was stretchered off with all 3 subs used. Portland on the attack here. Final throws. Comes to Rodney Wallace, midway inside the Sounders half. 1 minute to play. Seattle heading out of the tournament in their first game in 2015. The defending champions will be dethroned by their greatest rivals. It was Seattle who were victorious against the Timbers in this competition last year, but the tables turned on a tumultuous night in Starfire. For the Sounders, they will move on. A home game against San Jose Earthquakes on Saturday, as they look to push further on in their lead at the top of the Supporters' Shield standings. As now Urruti goes through, but is offside in the Sounders area. Portland Timbers, it will be a 4th straight victory for them. And a game that will live long in the memory for both teams. Very different memories of this match, but it's Portland Timbers who come through by 3 goals to 1 against, almost incongruously, a 7-man Seattle. Never before have I seen that. Portland Timbers taking the lead early in the second half through Diego Valeri. Obafemi Martins equalising in the 79th minute after Brad Evans had already been sent off. Rodney Wallace restoring the lead with a rebound in the 100th minute, as now there is a police escort for the officials who are swiftly being taken from the field. Seattle then had Azira and Dempsey sent off within the space of a minute in the second period of extra time, before Maxi Arruti got the third goal for Portland. The players shaking hands sportingly in the centre circle as the officials are taken away by police officers away to my right-hand side. Congratulations to Portland Timbers. They go through to the 5th round of the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. The draw to be made on Thursday morning. For the Sounders, the defending champions, they are out. They will concentrate now on the retention of their Supporters' Shield trophy and also the upcoming CONCACAF Champions League campaign. From Ross Fletcher, thanks very much for listening and watching on SoundersFC.com and Cairo Radio 97.3 FM. Final score from Starfire in front of 4,022 fans. Seattle Sounders 1, Portland Timbers 3.